I don't know. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by FanDuel.com, the number one sportsbook in America on the Believe Network, brought to you by Online Big Blue, of course. Let's give them something to talk about. We've been talking about the draft. We've been talking about players of the Giants May draft, and that's all ancillary stuff right now, because until you get closer to the draft, Lord knows what the fucking Giants are going to do. We got no clue. But we do have a clue about what's going on with John Harbaugh. I want to talk about the Harbaughlisms. I want to talk about some issues people are having. Did you turn the ads off? Fuck. No, Mike Lee, I did not turn the ads off. I need a segment producer or a show producer here, because I don't remember to do this stuff. And now I got to go into this count. Now I got to go two-step fucking verification process just to log into my own damn account on my own darn computer. This is communism at its finest. And I'm going to go turn off the ads now, because it's bugging Mike Lee. So we got to do everything that Mike Lee wants to do. How come we never get to do anything I want to do? Thought I would sound like one of my children for a moment. Here we go. Monetization off. Whoops. Verify it's you. You know it's me, motherfucker. I just told you it was me. Why are you verifying that it's me? Now I have to go on my phone and type in a number to verify that it's me. It's me. See? Just for Mike Lee. Turn the ads off. But I want to talk about the Harbaughlisms. I want to talk about Big John. I want to talk about how the national media has, I'm not going to say turned on John Harbaugh, but has kind of, the bloom has come off the rose. Tim, I am laughing my ass off with your antics. Thank you. But don't worry, I have Muppet accounts that I go and burn people with, because that's just me. Because I'm so technically fucking savvy that I can't figure out how to get back to this thing now. Damn it, Mike Lee. You screwed up the whole show. Everyone write thanks, Mike Lee. Whole show's fucked Mike up Lee. Now. You screwed up the whole show. Now I'm getting feedback. Everyone thanks Tim is not a bot. He is real. I am real. But I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Joe Shane. I want to talk about John Harbaugh. I was looking at some of the Giants' ratings on free agency, and there was a writer, and I'm not going to say who, but he was on CBS, and he had mentioned that he had given the Giants draft class a C-, and I keep thinking to myself, C-? How the fuck is that possible? And then he went on to talk about the fact that how the Giants draft class is kind of a dichotomy of Brian Daboll. And all that they had done was basically go back to Baltimore and grab players to bring in for Brian Daboll. For John Harbaugh. I fucking hate Brian Daboll. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay. So when Bill Parcells did the same thing with the Jets and the Patriots and the Cowboys, and you had the likes of the Belichick doing that in Cleveland, because you got to remember Carl Banks went to Cleveland. At one point in time, Phil Simms was dictated to go to Cleveland. And I laugh, though, because bringing in the Belichick guys or the Harbaugh guy, or the Harbaugh guys, or the Parcells guys, back then was not a big deal, was not an issue. But now, if you take a look at it with some of these sports writers, it's like, well, it's a C-. Well, what the fuck is a C- about it? Why is it a C-? And I loved it, because then you go on to like MSN Sports and a couple other places, and they do the Super Bowl power rankings. So the Giants before free agency, pre-free agency, were ranked 27th. And that's, of course, out of 32 teams for the free agency rankings, or the rankings, or the roster rankings. Now they moved up to 27th. They went from 28th to 27th. And I'm wondering, did everyone? I mean, is there a segment of the sports writing community that just went fucking stupid? I'm not saying that this is a team that is going to win 10 games. I still say this is a 5 to potentially 7 win team, which would be a great thing, which would be a buildup. And if you were building talent and you were moving the talent forward and you were building and we're not going to use culture because I love that John Harbaugh doesn't use culture, but he's building his talent. It's going to be a multi-year process to move forward. You even have people that didn't like the Jermaine Illuminor signing. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Ellie Moore Fudd, but he's probably one of the best pass blockers out there that we have right now, especially at the right tackle position. You didn't overpay him. You brought him in a team-friendly deal. It's probably going to be towards he's at the latter half of his career, which is fine, but I don't need him. He's not going to be here when the Giants are good. But I need a stopgap to get to the point that when the Giants are good. The only signing that I scratch my head and say, yeah, that's kind of as stupid as stupid does, was the Greg Newsome the second signing. Because you look at what he's done the last 2 seasons. I mean, I've said it before. I kind of just look at him and go,
what would you say you do here?
That's what I think about it. What do you say you do here? You give up a completion 78 to 82% completion percentage the last 2 seasons. As you've played more, your play has gotten worse. But then you look at the contract, the Giants really only gave him $3 million. And there's so many reclamation projects in that secondary that you have to kind of think and pause for a second. You always have to pause. It's a pause for the cause. And I just kind of think, well, you know what? Even at $3 million, if he sucks, is it going to be any worse than Drew Phillips, Paulson Adebo, or Banks? No, it might not be worse at all. That's what I think about. And then I see these things. And listen, the right guard position, murky. Murky at best. Is Marcus Bowe going to slide into that spot? Are we bringing back Greg Van Rotten? I know it's not rotten, but he's rotten to me. Is Evan Neal going to we did a whole video, and I want to thank everyone that actually watched that video. The rewatch on that video was really high, so I really do appreciate that. Do you look at that and kind of go, okay, well, you know what? The interior portion of the line, I still have a lot of questions about JMS, especially with a second-year quarterback. Is the interior, and him going in year 4, but is the interior of the portion of the line an issue? Sure. But what the Giants did in free agency, they did because of what they had. And this is what they could do. Like I've said it before, the free agency grade for the Giants day one to me was an A. Was an A+. They had at one point in time, the start of free agency that afternoon, $14.3 million. You had $14.3 million, and you come up with Isaiah Likely and Tremaine Edmonds. You have a 53-man roster, so you found 2 starters day one that are going to come in and be hopefully high-level competitors and high-level producers. It's weird, though, because, like I said, there was the hurrah, there was the excitement. And you also brought back Micah McFadden. Like I said, I'm not a big Micah McFadden fan. Does Micah McFadden move the Giants' odds to making the Super Bowl? Well, if you did, you know what you need to do? You need to go to the mighty FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com, #1 sportsbook in America, and check out those odds. Take a look at these Super Bowl winner odds. The Giants are not even on that list. You got the Rams at +700. You got the Seahawks at +950. I still think the Seahawks should be over the Rams. I went to the mighty FanDuel.com the other day and checked out all the rankings for the Giants on their sportsbook, which is the #1 sportsbook in America. And you take a look at it, and we've talked about it before. If you go to see where the Giants are ranked on the mighty FanDuel right now, They're at, where are they at? They're at plus 6,500. It could be worse. It's not as bad as the Miami Dolphins, the Jets, and the Cardinals, and the Cleveland Browns that are plus 25,000. But you take a look at those rankings, you sit there, you say to yourself, well, you know what? The Giants are in the bottom half of the league. The rankings aren't there. Especially if you go to the mightyfanduel.com and take a look at them. FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. I got to talk about just one thing on FanDuel real quick here. It's still time, guys. Get your $300 up to $300 in bonus bets back. Get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. We've talked about it before. Go get it. Sign up now. Go sign up for the FanDuel Sporting Book. When you sign up, you get one bet reset token every day for 10 days. You got to use it within the first 24 hours. There's a maximum refund of $300 per bet per reset token. So if you place a bet, you click on use the reset token, you bet $250, you get $250 back in bonus bets for 10 straight freaking days. So go to the mightyfanduel.com. You know what you need to do? You need to go place your bet right now for the New York Football Giants going to the Super Bowl. How's the Celtics bet looking? You know, it's funny, Joe. I was just talking to James Williams about that today. And I was looking at Tatum, and I'm like, dude's playing 32 minutes a night, averaging 21 and 10. You got this week left. The last game is Sunday for the Knicks. They're already at 50 wins. They're either probably going to be playing Philadelphia and Atlanta. But hey, the bet is looking good right now. James won't talk to me for a month, but the bet is looking good. Mike Lee says smash that like button. Mike Lee says smash that like button on the way in. Mike Lee also says perhaps they are ashamed they all will be taken in by Joe. They don't want to be that happen again with the initial praise of the Harbaugh hire. I thought about that, Mike. I thought about it for a second, that could it be that some of these sports writers are leery about getting excited about a giant coach? Think about that for a minute. You got burned on, well, I don't think anyone a lot of people did get burned on Joe Judge. I didn't get burned on Joe Judge because we had the bullshit meter running immediately when Joe Judge came around to town. When the Judge came around to town, the bullshit meter was firing at full cylinders. Brian Dable fooled people, including myself, that first season. I'm not gonna lie. I had a man crush on the Dabes for about 9 games when the Giants were 7-2-1. Then that man crush kind of fell off a little bit because I started seeing the cracks in the facade at 2-5-1, and people were getting upset with me because I was reporting things that were truthful. And then, of course, now you have an 18-year veteran over at the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl winner, guy that helped cultivate both 2 different styles quarterbacks in Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson, who built a winner for a perennial winner in Baltimore. He comes here with this pedigree. He comes here with this fanfare, John Harbaugh, that is. And we kind of just think back, and we kind of don't. And I think you're right. I think we don't want to get caught with our pants down.
That's what she said.
Because of the fact that we don't want to have the same issues that we have. But I think, like I said, this is a Parcellian move. This is a Dan Reeves type move. This is a Parcells going to New England, going to the Jets type move. This is the Tom Coughlin type move when you bring in a perennial winner to and I'm going to say this because it's true, resuscitate of the resuscitation of your franchise. Like it says, unveil the gates. Tim's looking forward to this. Unveil the gates. Tim, looking forward to this stream. Well, I hope you are. And I hope everyone is, hope some people are off on Easter Monday. Big Joe says, good morning, Tim. Hope you had a nice Easter. We had a very nice Easter. Hit that like button to check out the Mighty FanDuel and the ZipRecruiter.com. Well, we're not talking about ZipRecruiter.com just yet, but we will be. James Stein says, good morning, Tim. What's up? Come on, chat. Hit the like button. Show Tim some love. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have another Joel. Good morning, Tim. Joel, is that your burner account? No, that's Joel and Joe. I'm gonna shut my big mouth right now. Tim, it's not a bot. He's real. No, I'm not. Do Muppets make good followers? It's called Sock Muppets. or something like that. I don't remember. Ace said next season, Cowboys 10-7, Commanders 8-9, Eagles 7-10, Giants 4-13. Listen, the football gods did not do the Giants any favors with their schedule. Well, we don't know what the schedule is, but they didn't do any they didn't do any favors for them. Because but the thing is this, it's a rotating schedule. So if you take a look at the future opponent list, it's a rotating schedule. You're rotating divisionally, and you always have to play your own teams. So we're going to play away at the Seahawks, away at the Rams, away at the Colts, away at the Texans, away at the Lions, and then, of course, the Commanders, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. There's potentially 6 losses right there. And then you're like, okay, well, it gets a little easier because the home game you're playing the Tennessee Titans. You hope the Giants can beat the Titans. You're probably going to lose to the 49ers. Hopefully you can beat the Saints. Jags to me are a toss-up. Cleveland Browns should be a win. Arizona Cardinals should be a win. I got to tell you, this is a season ticket holder. I'm not overly excited about the home schedule. Am I going to be rushing out to see the Arizona Cardinals? No. Am I going to be rushing out to see the Cleveland Browns? No. Am I going to rush out to see Tennessee Titans? No. Am I going to rush out to see the Saints? No. There's like 3 home games that I want to see this year. That would be the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the 49ers. Now, if I was looking at away games, well, shit, I would want to see the Lions, the Texans, the Colts, the Rams, and the Seahawks. But the football gods did not do the Giants any favors. I've said this before with the John Harbaugh effect. I think he's good for 2 to 3 wins. You have them slated as a 4-win team. I would say they're a 6-win team. The Giants, that is. Because of the fact that if you have them slated as a 4-win team, I'm giving them 2 additional wins just because of the coaching, just because of the Harbaugh effect, because we're not going to have these head-scratching coaching decisions. Yes, and listen, John Harbaugh, the last couple years, tenure-wise, over in Baltimore, did some things that kind of scratched your head. But here's my question. I keep saying this to everyone over and over again. If they make that field goal at the end of last season, is Harbaugh even our coach? There is a 50-50 chance that he's not if they make the playoffs. I think that chance drops down to 20-80 if they win a playoff game in Baltimore. So it was the luck of the Irish that brought Harbaugh over to us. And we got to thank the Big Don for gifting the 5 memberships. Why don't you take me to Funky Town? I do agree about the Eagles stepping back. I'm sorry about that, Trenton. I do agree about the Commanders stepping up. And I'm still questioning the Cowboys. But I actually, Ace Boogie, put some boogie in your butt. 8 wins for the Commanders, 7 wins for the Eagles. I kind of see that. I kind of feel that. Mike Lee says history is irrelevant. It is contrary to one story. Ooh, that was good, Mike. AJ, what's up, AJ? Why wouldn't you want a guy from a winning program? That's a great question. AJ, that is probably the smartest question of the day. Why wouldn't you want a guy? Yes, we want to hire a guy that's a loser. This is what I don't get, AJ. You have people already questioning, well, Harbaugh wasn't that good in Baltimore. I'm seeing the national media question some of this shit already. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go. We want to make sure we want to make sure we have everything included. Whoa, how did I do that? I don't know what I just did there. I don't know. What do I do that? I don't know. I don't know how to make half this shit work. It's fine though. That's a poignant point. Why wouldn't you want a guy from a winning program? Joe Spano says, smart writers, and that's an oxymoron. Let's get our coach guys who doesn't like and gets fit from his playing system. Maybe the Giants should hire John. You're right. LeVar, what's up? Good morning, LeVar. Good morning, Tim. Chat, I'm here. Let's talk. 40 people watching, 17 likes early to the chat. Hit that like button, says Big LeVar. Joe said sports writers didn't just get stupid. Many were already that way. Mike Lee says, I think Joe snuck the Greg Newsome sign in and Don and Joan were out of the building. Listen, $3 million Newsome, former first-round pick. I watched him play at Jacksonville. He was horrible. Cleveland, he was god-awful. Can Denard Wilson make something out of him? We're talking $3 million and no money next year. So why I potentially I hate these types of signs. I hate these types of signs because it reminds me of the Knicks. It reminds me of the Knicks back in the day when the Knicks thought that they could find these reclamation projects that are former second overall picks or third overall picks, bring them in, give them little to no money, and they were going to make winners out of them. I still remember Jameel Okafor coming in for the Knicks. I don't think he even ever played for the Knicks, but he was signed by the Knicks at one point in time and then got cut after a couple weeks. I remember players coming in and it's like, this guy's got all the talent in the world, but we said it before, he's got $1 million arm and a 2-cent head. James Williams says, hit the like button. Joe says, come on, Tim. Giants should have signed Walker, Linderbaum, Dean, and everyone else on their wish list. LeVar says, Greg Newsome sign is nice. He is a guy that needs a small revamp. I don't want to put all the faith in the coaches to get them right, but coaching matters and enhances the abilities of the players. Listen, Greg to me, Greg Newsome the second, I should call him the third, is a horrible player. The last 2 seasons, he has been, the last 2 seasons, to say it nicely, he has been god-awful. Technically, if you go back to 2024, he's been god-awful. Completion percentage and coverage since 2024, 63.7, 63.9, 63.3, 62.7. Average yard completion going back to 2024, 15.3, 12.3, 12.3, 12. At least he's consistent at only giving up 12.2 yards per catch over the last 3 seasons. His yards per target, this is what gets me about him, is 7.7, 7.8, 7.7. That's how many yards down the field someone is grabbing the ball. And then they are getting another 5 to 6 yards in yak. If you go by quarterback ranking, 121.5, 100.7, 97.4, 107.5. How many? And then, like I said, we're looking at this, and you want to really cringe. I'm gonna give you a stat that is going to make you cringe. His 5-year career. That is Mr. Newsome. In his 5-year career, he has a missed tackle percentage of 14.8% in 5 years. And that's out of 71 games played, 58 games started. His missed tackle percentage was 19.4 last year. His highest missed tackle percentage, which was in 2024, was 20.6. That means this guy only stops the ball carrier 20% of the time. There is so many things to dislike about his coverage ability that it's unbelievable. And I love it. He had a 19.4 missed tackle percentage with only a combined total of 29 tackles. In 2024, in 13 games, started 3, he had 27 tackles and a 20.6 missed tackle percentage and 207 combined tackles. His missed tackle percentage is 14.8. You need some serious resurrection for that. And I know it was Easter, but darn. How's the Celtic back looking? We're looking good. I don't want to talk about that, though. I already talked about it. James Stein says, James One, what's up, brother? I hit the like button already and asked the chat to do so. So to hope all is good with you guys. Everything's good. LeVar also says, putting them in the right position, playing them into the strengths and doing things like that, that's what the coaching staff will have. John Harbaugh, who beat Detroit, will split with Dallas. We beat Denver. We don't play Denver. Listen, I agree. Coaching is a venerable part I love it because we had someone on the stream a couple of weeks back. I don't remember who said it. I said, coaching's not that important. And I laughed because I had to hear for years how important coaching was, especially on the offensive line. Coaching's not that important. Then you finally bring in some guys that can coach the shit out of people. And that's what they're saying now. That coaching's not that. But you have guys now that can coach the shit out of people. You can coach up. You got some guys that can coach up some guys. Like I said, I am putting a lot in the Denard Wilson resurrection projects. And that's going to be for Paulson Adebo, Drew Phillips. For as bad as Newsome is, Drew Phillips has been worse in coverage the last 2 seasons. He's got a much better missed tackle percentage, but he's been worse in coverage. And I'm hoping for a Tyler Nubin protractor sighting. And like I said, I am putting a lot of faith this year on this coaching staff. But I still think it's going to be a 5 to 7 win team. But I do think that coaching, putting people in the right position, putting people in an area where they can excel and can exceed, a lot of that is truly going to fall on the coaching staff, but a lot of that is going to include the buy-in from the players in regards to what they can do. And that's what we're going to have to hope. Joe Ferry says, a lot of these great signings feel like buying a distressed property, hoping to get anything out of it. Joe, I would like to tell you you're wrong. But every time you buy a distressed property, you tear down a building, you tear down a wall, you go into the foundation, sometimes you find a pot of gold. Could Newhouse be that pot of gold? Sure. Could Micah McFadden all of a sudden learn how to cover and tackle? Let's not get fucking crazy. No, I'm just joking. Yes. We've had so many coaches for this year, for this Giant team that stayed. We had so many position coaches that stayed for the Giants. And I never liked it. And I know I know there's times where you have people on the coaching staff, like Andre Patterson was one of them. I was never a big fan of Andre Patterson because everyone says, well, Dexter Lawrence and Danielle Hunter. Okay, what did he do to DJ Davidson? What did he do to Jordan Riley? What did he do to all these other players that we had? You take the 2 best players and say, well, you know what? They're great. And Danielle Hunter only got better when he left Andre Patterson. Leonard Williams,
king of the almost sack,
reinvigorated his entire career in Seattle to where he was an all-pro Pro Bowler for 2 seasons. Sometimes you just need to wipe the slate clean, and it's going to be hard for some guys because some fans latch onto a name, guys and gals, latch onto a name, and you go from there, and they're not looking at what their entire body of work was outside of a Pro Bowl player that they may not have a ton to do with. Hirsch, for real, what's up, brother? Harbaugh and Shane are apples and oranges. They're apples and hand grenades. Would you rather play? Would you have rather paid Flott or Greg Newsome? Wow, that's like would I rather have gonorrhea or syphilis? I stole that from James this morning. I've used that. I've used that. Wow, that's Here's the question I have back at you, AJ. Am I paying Flott and Newsome the same amount? Or am I giving them the Flott contract? Because if I'm getting if I'm paying Flott the contract he got in Tennessee, I would rather have Newsome. Because if you take a look at the yards per complete, you will take a look that Cordell Flott started 14 games, only had 1 interception. He only had 3 interceptions in 53 games. And he only gave up a completion percentage of 52.2. But his yards per completion was 13.3. His average target downfield was 6.5. That means Cordell Flott was giving up almost 7 more yards per reception after the initial contact, after the initial reception. And he only had 38 combined tackles. Why his missed tackle percentage was only 5, I agree. That to me is not worth the cash that he got. So if you're telling me I could have Newsome at his contract or Cordell Flott at the contract that Tennessee gave him, it's a great question. I'm going to go Newsome. One is a proven winner. The one is not. You're right. Joe Shane is a disgrace. John Good Orange, Joe Rotten Apple. Hey-o. Joe Ferry says, we see him on camera putting the dart picks all on Dable, then often says takes full credit for it at his press conference. My biggest concern with that is, this is why I want Joe Shane out of the fucking building. Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus used to be at MSG all the time, went out of business. So somewhere in the bowels of MSG, they have to have the clown cannon. And the clown cannon was what was used, of course, to shoot the clowns into the net across MSG. That clown cannon still got to be there. So what I want to do is I want to put Joe Shane in the clown cannon and shoot him over to the East River. All we have to worry about is
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
Well, we need to make sure the pattern isn't full, and we need to shoot him into the East River out of the cannon. Because he is the one constant pariah in this building for the New York Giants. That's Joe Shane. I've said this before. I think Dawn is in a great position, and she's done a wonderful job. The contracts are manageable. There was nothing that I looked out and said, the talent I look at and say, well, I'm questioning on the talent. But when you saw the Newsome deal was 1 year, $8 million, you were kind of like, eh. But then the figures came out and you're like, oh, okay. Well, really it's only $3 million. And he's got no money going into next year. So I'm okay with that. So I always tell people when they get so excited about these contracts and they want to have a little bit of a hissy tizzy fit. I'm always like, just wait to see what comes out of the deal first before you start throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Stadler and Waldorf Muppet account. They're crabby, complain about everything. Hey-o. The rumors about us opening season in Seattle are idiotic. There's two things that I'm worried about right now. There's two things that I'm worried about right now about the Giants. Well, actually, there's one thing I'm worried about. Where the hell is the season ticket? Where is the draft party? It is already the 6th, and I'm checking my emails right now, and I have yet to get anything about the draft party. The Giants in last 2 years have not had a town hall. I haven't been to the rookie symposium, and now they're going to, and I haven't even seen what my gift is going to be. And I don't know what the draft party is going to be yet. I'm actually getting a little concerned about the draft party. We got to the funky town. Let's not get into burner accounts, Timmy. Deactivate McMullen on the case. He's right back there. Joe says the Giants are winning Super Bowls this year. Let's not forget the whole thing and go home. Sarcasm alert.
Warning, sarcasm.
Boom.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
Took me a minute. Cowboys hit on their defensive picks. They are the favorite to me. The problem with the Cowboys is the defense. That's the problem. And that has been the problem. They have to revamp their entire defense. The offense, I'm not upset of. I mean, the offense with Dak Prescott is going to be the offense. But the Cowboys, they acquired Rashawn Gary. So for a 4th rounder, I think. They got, what's his name? Well, they got the safety from the Cardinals, Thompson. They picked up the corner in Durant. They picked up, they gave no money to that former second round pick, I can't remember his name, Williams. They took a flyer on the guy from the Chargers. They also grabbed that safety from, I want to say, the Broncos, guy who started like 26 or 27 games. And they picked up, they picked up the guy from the Saints, the defensive tackle, and they picked up the guy from the Rams. So they actually the Cowboys have actually, if you take a look at their free agent, I could just fucking pull it up. Why don't I just pull it up? No, it's too much work. It's too much work into it, Jeffrey. They are doing so many things like now that are trying to do that. Tim bot account knocked up his AI girlfriend. I told them not to use the algorithm method. Hey, that's pretty funny. What's up, Kevin? By the way, Ace, the rest of the division takes a step back. The Giants will also have to win more games since every NFL game has to be a winner. See, that's my thing. I agree with the guy that posted the Ace. I agree with Ace. I think Washington's going to step up from last year. I think Philadelphia may be a 7-win team, depending on. I don't like what the offensive coordinator did, or what they did with their offensive coordinator. And Dallas is kind of, to Joe Spano's point, is kind of revamping their defense. But if you have two teams that are going to be mid-level 7 to 8 win teams, that means the Giants are going to win divisionally some extra games. I'm down for that. Actually, it was one of my Muppet accounts. Darn animal is a real ladies' man. The chicks did rock and roll. Animal is one hell of a drummer. Can't wait for Newsome to come out and opening day with a Guardian cap and Tips loses his shit. Listen, when he is at the press conference, he's got on the Where's Waldo beanie. I was like, is he afraid of a concussion now? Because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I might lose my shit. I mean, if you want me to be honest, there is a potential that I could lose my shit if he does that, because I still to this day cannot get over the red beanie or the red skull cap or whatever the hell you want to call that he had on his head. I can't get over that to this day. I don't think he's worn a Guardian cap though. I don't want to say he's worn a Guardian cap, but I could potentially lose my shit over that, because we all know how I feel about the Guardian cap, and I understand. Listen, I'm not making light of concussions. I had 11 known concussions. I'm not making light of that, but I just laugh. And listen, I know he's got the big hair. At least he used to have the big hair. But who told him that was a good look? Who told him that, hey, Greg, you're going to go sign your contract with the Giants? Why don't you wear the Where's Waldo hat? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. What's up, Charlie? I see Charlie in the comment. I'm going to get to Charlie's comment in a minute. Good morning, dude. What's up, mister? How you doing, my brother? Newsome will be fine as long as you don't target him. Newsome will be fine as long as you don't play him. So basically, Newsome is Micah McFadden of corners. You know, Newsome is actually worse than Micah McFadden at corners. But yes, you were 100% right. Micah McFadden has a 14.9 missed tackle percentage for his career and can't cover. Newsome's tackle percentage is 19.9 and can't cover. So you're actually 100% right on that. Other than numbers, Tim, reels off Newsome. He's fine. Good morning, BP. What's up? What's up, BP, my brother? How you doing? Charlie Collins. What's up, Big Charlie? I believe trading back and taking Vega, then stacking some later picks is a good option. If the Giants are to trade back, we've talked about this before. This draft is not a deep draft. This draft is not this talent-laden draft that next year's is going to be. This draft is kind of murky in regards to talent. Most draft analysts and draft people that predict the drafts will tell you this. This is a good draft if you're looking for backups and low-level starters, probably outside of the top 10. Next year's draft is stacked. If the Giants trade down, my only concern is how far are you going to trade down? And if you do trade down, I would actually be more interested in trading into, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like it, trying to grab some picks in 27. But then the question is going to be if, and I still think Sonny Styles is the pick at 5. Sideline to sideline linebacker, former safety, cover. Some people are like, well, we're going to use him as a hybrid. He's going to be a player that we shall not name who didn't have a position. And he could be a safety or a linebacker. No. I'm calling Sonny Styles a hybrid because I'm either going to play him on the inside and the outside linebacker position. I'm not moving him in the safety position. Sonny Styles' benefit to this team is the fact that he could be a 3-down linebacker. He is a guy that can play the inside. He's a guy that can play the outside. He's a guy that can cover. But if I'm trading out of 5, I would want to trade down no lower than 10. And the additional pick, if it was a 3rd or a 2nd or a 4th round or a 3rd and a 4th, I would, and I know people aren't going to like it, I would want it in 27. Now, the interesting thing is with this draft, while it's not talent laden and all-star talented draft, there are players that the Giants need and could get in this draft that could be starters because the positions of need for the Giants are the strength of this draft. So you kind of fall into a catch-22 here. While I think you may get better value of talent in 27 if you trade down, I think you could get a more immediate talent and value if you stay in this draft. If you stay in this draft right now, I think you could go better. I think it'll work better that way for you. That's just my thought process. It's all about talent. We've talked about this before. We talked about this a million times before. He talked about, goals in 26. And the Giants had to find people to achieve these goals. And how did they do that? They went out and got John Harbaugh. They went out and got a guy that's going to help them build into a winner. They got into a guy that the Giants had a goal in 26, and I guarantee you they should have. If they didn't, they probably did. Use ZipRecruiter. Because it's hard to find people that are so good at what they do. It's like if you're hiring, how can you find the best person for all different roles on your team? That's easy. ZipRecruiter. And right now, you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. I'm going to say it slow for the cheaper seats. ZipRecruiter.com I'm going to say it because I can't pronounce it. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. If you're hiring for your company, this is the busiest time of year. And because you got new goals in 26, like the Giants do right now, that means finding the right person is something that you need to accomplish. It's something that you need to do. ZipRecruiter, we've said it before, they have this technology, and this is what the Giants should do. They have this matching. This is probably what Joe Shane did. Joe Shane, when he was doing all his research, was probably using ZipRecruiter. They have this matching technology that works fast, helps you find the top talent, so you don't waste your time, you don't waste your money. You can find out right away how many job seekers in the area are qualified for the role that you have. Let ZipRecruiter help you find the best people for all your roles. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate within the first day. See yourself. Go out to these exclusive web address right now. We've tried it for free. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. I'm going to say it again. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And that's what the Giants needed to do. They needed to hire at ZipRecruiter.com. I'm just throwing it out there. Yes, I'm still laughing about losing my shit over the Guardian cap. That one actually made me laugh. And don't forget to hit the like, or Joe Shane will be here for 2027, because we only have 34 likes and we should have 35. We should have 45 at this point in time. I want 50 before we leave in an hour, or I'm going to be upset. Or I'll just sing the whole show. Where was I? Let's see here. Giants are not winning Super Bowl this year. Let's forget about the whole thing. I already got to that one. I love this one about the bot account. Knock it up. The other thing that was pretty fucking funny. That was pretty clever. Besides the numbers I read off, where was I? Joe Ferry's motivational speaker Tim, been down by the river. I can tell you, read Gary Reason's book. Oh, you mean Gary Reason's book, Reasons to Believe? Go out right now on Amazon right now and get Gary Reason's book, The Reasons to Believe. It's not only about the Giants, it's about a life lesson. It's an inspirational path to winning. You can get it in the hard copy, you can get it in paperback, and you can also get it in the, of course, venerable Kindle version. James Williams is having himself a good time. Joe Spana says, well, if the collective said so, book it. There's a wealth of football knowledge there. I don't know who the collective is. And Zach's not here to tell me who things are. Only top content creators. Spano. I laugh because we all know, of course, I'm on the Mighty Believe. And if you go to believe.com and you look at their featured shows, and I laugh because never thought this would happen. So someone sent it to me and I was scrolling down. I'm like, oh, Believe. I was like, Believe, the network show, every top show somewhere. And then I scroll down. I'm like, holy shit. I'm on one of their featured shows. I'm one of their featured shows. And I'm sitting right next to my old buddies. Don't you love it when they call you Bob Pop? Believe in Giants. I'm the show right next to Believe in Giants under Believe's featured shows. I don't know why that makes me laugh. It just does. Joe Ferris, you crack me up. Oh, my watch something. Harbaugh will hold on to Shane, his whipping boy. I still think Joe Shane should be fired after the draft. I really do. What is the necessity of Joe Shane? You read the description that they gave for Dawn's job. You read that and you're like, well, that doesn't really make any sense. We've said it before. You read Joe's job, Dawn's job description, and do you think, is this truly what Joe Shane's doing? Is this truly Joe Shane getting Harbaugh coffee? Is Joe really going to be selling hot dogs? The Shane hot dogs and Giants talk? Or is he going to wear a sign that says punch me for $5? I got a video, I think, coming out tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do a video tomorrow. Because I got a good topic. I was just thinking about it. I got a video, and I got to do a live stream on Wednesday. Because we got a big guest coming in on Wednesday, courtesy of Joe Spano. But I got a video coming up tomorrow. I think I'm going to do a video tomorrow. Hey, Tim, everyone smash that like button. Don't be invisible like the Ghost Brothers. Damn it. I knew I had that. James says, tell Don I approve the Gary hire for the Syracuse coach. No, because then he's going to want to come on and talk about it. When it comes down to contract numbers and coming out before the NFLPA shares them, the sources of them is usually information that players, agents, and the goals to make the contract as big as possible. We've said that before. One of the biggest issues is the fact that the contracts have to go to the league office to get ratified. And so basically back in the day, you used to get your contracts done. You get your contract signed. Then you would fax over. I was in Tampa for this. You would literally fax over the contracts. Yes, a fax machine. You would fax over these deals. And then, like I said, until they get ratified by the league, they're not legal yet. What's up, Winston? The Giants are focused on taking care of business and building a great team. They don't have time for parties and festivals. Winston, I'm a season ticket holder. I need a party. James Williams is here. James Stein is here. T. Rose, I was just thinking about you the other day, T-Rose. You had a great comment the other day. I can't remember what it was. Giants drafting back to 10 with the Bengals. Hey, Joey G. What's up, Joey G? I haven't seen Joey G in a while. But T-Rose, I've said this before. If I'm trading back, if I'm the Giants and I'm trading back, yeah, I'm probably trading back with the Bengals. Because if he is still there, you can then take Caleb Downs. And I would have no problems with you taking Caleb Downs at 10. And I still think that Caleb Downs could potentially be there at 10, because I think, like I said, if you go through conventional NFL wisdom, most people will tell you, and we've said it before, in 50 years, 250 picks out of the top 5 picks, only 4 safeties have ever been drafted. So I could trade down with 10. Cincinnati has the propensity of sucking. So if I could trade down to 10 and maybe grab a 3rd rounder in 27, an additional 5th rounder this year in this draft, I would trade down to 10. I would. I can't see the positional value of Caleb Downs at 5. You would have 2 of the shortest safeties in the entire league, because we've talked about Darius Washington. Darius Washington, who was a starter back in 24 with the Ravens, that was the worst Ravens secondary in 20 years. And he's like 5'8". Caleb Downs isn't much taller. So you would have the two shortest starting safeties in the entire league if you grab Caleb Downs at 5. And I can't see grabbing a 4th-tier defender when a 2nd-tier defender is needed at a position where you don't take a 4th-tier defender. Because tier 1 is your defensive line, tier 2 is your linebackers, tier 3 is your corners, tier 4 is your safeties. I can't do that. Conventional NFL wisdom says you cannot do that. Does it mean the Giants won't do it? I don't know. Would I be upset if Caleb Downs at 5 is wearing a Giant uniform? No. Because I don't control the draft and I don't control the board, so that's fine. So that's not going to bother me. Joey G says, I hate to say it, but Dallas is in the Eagles draft better than us of late. Yeah, but we got a new team. T-Rose says, Giants can't draft Styles. They need too much. Yes, but that's the point. They do need too much. You're 100% right. You're 1,000% right. But you have to draft Sonny Styles if he's there, in my opinion. Slider, what's up, brother? How's it going? Good morning. It's 9 o'clock your time, right? It's 9 o'clock your time. Slider. Got to get Slider. Hold on. Here we go for Slider.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
Slider's in the house. T-Rose also says, Harbaugh don't want the Commanders to draft Styles. That's cool. We're drafting Downs. The great Gonzo. Jared says, looks like Paddington with the hat. Know what you're talking about, man. LeVar says, I don't want them to have Downs. Yeah, but you can't draft someone because you don't want someone else to have them. Giants giving Styles to the Bengals, letting them trade up. Listen, like I said, if you can trade with the Bengals, don't go past 10. Grab, and here's the thing though. I also, if you're gonna trade down and try to get Caleb Downs, I still worry about about Miami, but the Miami's at 11, so I'm not, and they're probably gonna go. I would think Miami would go like lemon because Miami needs some weapons. Miami got Malik Willis, and they said, let me trade the best players we have. I think the Commanders could potentially be in play for Caleb Downs. I don't think the Saints would. I think the Saints would probably go corner. I think the Browns are probably going to go offensive. Browns need to go offensive line. So I think the smart move would be 10 for the Bengals, because if I take a look at this, Raiders aren't taking downs. Jets aren't going to take downs. Titans, I still think are going to grab Love. Cardinals, I think, are going offensive line. The Giants, that's the there. I think Kansas City. Not Kansas City. I can't remember who's at 6. Who the fuck is at 6? I can't remember. Washington, I think Washington should go wide receiver and offensive line, but I do think that they could be in play for downs. I don't think the Saints would be in play for downs. So I think 10's at a safe spot for downs. But like I said, if I can get a third rounder in 27 and maybe a 5th in this year's draft, I'd be good with that. So we got 3 6-round picks. I'm okay with that. All good here, James. Everyone's all good. Joe Ferris also says drafting a guard that can play tackle in a pinch, not a bad idea. Well, here's the problem with Spano, though. Spano now is people are telling me you're drafting a tackle that can play guard and potentially center. So I cannot do Spencer Fano anymore. I'm not going to say the name. That's what I think when I heard Sonny Styles. Now, I'm not saying the name because they are 2 different players. They are not even on the same playing competitive level. I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to go there. Not go there. Google it. Giants best trade offers. Nah, I don't. I don't know. That seems like a lot of work. LeVar says, I literally knocked something down in my house. I rolled on the floor, kicking and screaming. Do you know what's better than giving up for us for 5 and 6? I'm sweating right now thinking about it. T Rose also says the Giants need to trade down. Drafting styles is considered bad business. Google it. Drafting style. Well, here's the thing. I don't Google something to find out if something is bad business. I believe that, first of all, we're only 3 years away from Skynet. That's the first problem. I don't use AI. Because if I put this brain in AI, we're fucked. That 3-year clock for Skynet drops down to about 1232. I don't Google, and this was the thing that gets me about analytics and all these stats and all these accelerated stats and all these advanced stats. They never tell the whole story. They never tell about talent. They never tell about heart. They never tell about desire. They never tell about versatility. Sonny Styles is probably the most versatile linebacker that I've seen in the last 10 years. Outside of Parsons. And Parsons has a different type of versatility. Joe Spano says, I don't just buy Big Francis at 5. He's not Quentin Nelson and feels like settling for a single or double when a home run might be right there. Honestly, if you're going for a home run at 5, if you were going to do a Dave Kingman and swing for the fences, you go Caleb Downs. Because we've said it before, out of the 4 safeties that were taken in the top 5 over the last 50 years, which is 250 picks, only 2 of them panned out. That would be a huge swing. Gano is gone. Yes, Graham Gano is gone. Sack predictions for Carter. Ooh, I got to get that. LeVar says, I'm really mad. It ain't happening yet, bro. I'm still saying you don't, but let's do 15 or something like 41. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Guardian caps does not help prevent concussions. It's bullshit. I've already said this before about the Guardian cap. Listen, we had the Dahmer in the house a couple years back, literally in the house. And I put on my old college shoulder pads. I have my old college shoulder pads. I got a couple of helmets, but I put on the shoulder pads. And even Dom was like, these things are freaking huge. Even on Dom, and Dom's a midget. Dwarf. I'm sorry, not a midget. He's a little dwarf person, little midget person. No, I'm just joking. He's not. I love Dom. I love the Dahmer, but you can see there's a little bit of a size difference. But I put on the shoulder pads, and he was like, these freaking shoulder pads are huge. Cause back in the day, back in the early, late 80s, early 90s, especially for a linebacker. The shoulder pads were fucking huge. You go watch any college football game. It was literally like you had on these things, but the helmets were still so antiquated. They didn't have the air pockets. You didn't blow them up anymore. It wasn't until the 2000s you really got into that technology. And I had another friend over, and it was funny though, because he put on the helmet, one of the helmets, and he was like, how do you still have a brain? Now, technology of helmet has improved, but to the point Slider's making, you put a pillow on top of a helmet and still ram your head into a wall for 11, 12, 14 years. Yeah, bad things are going to happen. Because you got to remember, even if you don't go pro, most kids play 3 years Pop Warner. You play another 4 years in high school, which is 7. And then you play another 4 years in college, which is 11 years. So by the time you are in your 20s, you've already played 11 years of football. And I'm telling you, putting a pillow on your head, running into a wall, I'm not seeing that being a great savior. That's just me. Let's see sacks predictions for Carter. Charlie. That's a great question. I don't know how they're going to use Carter. I thought Carter was misused last year. And as I've said before, I think Jackson Dart was done a disservice last year by Brian Dable and Mike Kafka. Because when Dable got fired and the league adjusted, I'm not going to Google anything, T-Rose. I don't Google shit to find my answers. I got these, and I got this, and I got this. That's how I look at things. And that's how good scouts look at things. But I don't think they did it. They did a disservice to Jackson Dart because they never tried to make him an NFL quarterback. So I think the Jackson Dart clock for him being an NFL quarterback starts in, I think what is it tomorrow? They're in camp. They have they want a bunch of stuff starting tomorrow. But I think it doesn't start till this year. And it's the same thing with Abdul Carter. The more you played Abdul Carter last year, the less effective he was at times. Now, people will say, well, Tim, you take a look at, the latter half of his, the latter half of the season, the games that he played, how can you say that? Well, I'm going to tell you that right now. I could easily say that because of the fact that take a look at the competition that he played in the latter half of the year. It's not like he went up against, the best opponents the league had to offer. Now, of course, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule. But you also have to remember when you are closing out your schedule against Washington, Minnesota, Vegas, and Dallas, I hope to God that you have this wonderful game. And you have all these sacks and you do all these things. But let's be honest, in those 4 games, he had a sack and a half. Or I'm sorry, 2.5 sacks. And you had 7 tackles against Washington, but it's Washington. And yeah, I understand you can only play the teams that you play. And people are going to talk about, we had 23 quarterback hits. Okay, what did that equate to? What did that mean? Nothing. And that's the thing. This is a guy that only had 4. This is a guy that played, especially towards the end, was playing 88% of the snaps. And he finishes out with 42 tackles. When he's on the field most of the time in 4 sacks, because of the fact that he is being misused. And I laugh though, because people are like, well, put him in the linebacker position. In the small sampling he has had as a linebacker, especially in coverage, the league is 2 for 2 for 100% with a largest completion of 36 yards for a quarterback rating of 118.7. That's why you do not drop Abdul Carter into coverage. This is why you use Abdul Carter as a pass rusher. I said it last year. I thought he could have had 11 sacks last year. I thought Abdul Carter literally could have had 11 sacks last year. I was not a fan of the pick at 3. I said there was 2 players that had bust written all over them. and they run the first 3 picks, and that's going to be, Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. But I said, if you used him as a situational pass rusher, if you used him to create advantages for your defensive line and create mismatches, I thought he could do like a 10.5 sack Brad Huff type season with the Jets. That he could come in situationally and play to his strengths, which is going to be his speed, and create mismatches. The problem with Abdul Carter is the more you gave him snaps at 6'3", 250 pounds, the more he was exposed as a poor run defender. The more he got exposed in regards to being manhandled and being basically taken on one-on-one by tackles. And it's also, this is a guy that had 5 defensive offside penalties. So if you look at it from a perspective, what you should have done with Abdul Carter is create situations for him to excel. Now, I think a smart defensive coordinator, I hope Denard Wilson is. I'm not using his track record over in Tennessee against him, but you don't play Abdul Carter 60%, 88% of the snaps. We have had such a bad run defense for years. And we gave up over 5 yards a carry last year, and a lot of that went off tackle. And the reason why it went off tackle, because teams would attack the ends. They would attack Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter. Now, Brian Burns got better at playing the run. I know Carl Banks likes to say that Kayvon Thibodeau got better. I didn't really see it. But when you have such a porous run defense and small undersized ends, you just attack the ends. And Dexter Lawrence has been giving up chunks of yards in the middle for the last 3 years. So you need to use Abdul Carter in a versatile way that takes advantage of his skill set. And I think the easiest way to take advantage of his skill set is to put him in position where you move him to the edge, you move him to the interior, you put him up as a stand-up linebacker on the left or the right side, you rush him from the interior line, but you don't put him out in space where he can have where he can be bullied or go up against some of these stronger left tackles, but you create opportunities for him. And I still think you can get a guy that can get 11 sacks. And I know that was a long way to go about saying I think he can get 11 sacks, but I'm only going to play him 60% of the time because I'm not going to create a deterrent. Putting him out on the defensive line does not create a deterrent for teams not to run. If I see Abdul Carter on one side and I see Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side, I'm running off tackle. I'm running right at Abdul Carter or Kayvon Thibodeau. Running right at him. I'm not even thinking twice. I'm running right at him because that's what teams have been doing for years. But if you get smart, you build a defensive scheme that helps him, you can get 11 sacks out of the guy. You may only get 30 tackles, but I need sacks. I need to put I don't need quarterback. I don't need quarterback hits. I don't need pressures. I need someone to put the quarterback on his ass with the ball in his hand for a loss. Taking a guy at 3 to get 4 sacks and be porous against the run and not good in coverage is not what I need. I need to play to his strengths. Abdul Carter is going to be on this team for at least 3 years. Play to his strengths. I hope that's what they do. Bad business, really, because Daniel Jones was great business. And I have to Google that too. I don't need to Google that. Tim, you can give me a reasons to believe the Giants are 9-7? No. Because that's only 16 games. 17 game schedule. Any stupid Giant Twitter post for today?
stupid giant Twitter posts.
No, honestly, no. I haven't bet on Twitter. I haven't bet on Twitter in a little bit. What do we got, Mr. Is this Ken? I can't remember. Jennifer's Ken. I can't remember who Ken is. I can't remember Ken's other fake, not his fake name, his wife's account's names. Harbs would say, I will pay for a tight end and running back in the draft in the later rounds. The big guys are important picks in the early rounds. You don't just get one. He wants an offensive lineman you can plug in right in. I don't think there's an offensive lineman you could plug right in outside of Big Francis in Miami at 5. And where are you going to plug him in? You just gave Jermaine Illuminor money for 2 years, and you have a Pro Bowler, no, all pro, what should be a Pro Bowler, and all pro in Andrew Thomas. So and I can't grab a guard at 5. Listen, I'm all for the hog mollies. Like I said, I was on the Spano train for a while now. Then I kind of deviated. I kind of changed when I got off at the Styles stop. Went right before Hoboken. But we have to just see what goes on. Yeah, get Dart help fuck the defense. Didn't we bring in Illuminor? Didn't we bring in Isaiah Likely? Didn't we bring in Darnell Mooney? Didn't we restructure the deal of Devin Singletary? Didn't we bring him in another wide receiver too? I think Carter will get 3 to 5 sacks if he plays well. No, I still see him getting 11. What's up, Jose? Jose just having a good time. Shane Dunk Tank Joe. Big Sliders said, what's Big Sliders says? You can screw it up. So let's keep him, Tim. Sarcasm alert.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
Joe says, I don't think Joe Shame gets fired after the draft. It is rare that it happens. It's usually in fighting, which we don't have. I don't think Joe is going to get fired. I don't think Joe's going to get fired. I would fire him. But I don't think he's going to. I think you're right. I don't think he's going to get fired. I don't think he's going to. Make sure you hit the like because I want 50 likes before I leave. Just for T-Rose, I'm going to Google Sonny Styles. I already said I would take Reese over Styles if Arvell is there. And I love it because here's Big Blue something, Sonny Styles, clear choice, SNY, consensus, Sonny Styles, Sports Illustrated, Sonny Styles, Yahoo, Sonny Styles, MSN, Sonny Styles, NewJersey.com, Love or Sonny Styles. Why the Giants must draft Unicorn, Sonny Styles. Wow, these are all bad things. Lab created Sonny Styles to 5 for the Giants. These are all bad things. Yahoo again, Sonny Styles. Big Blue View, Sonny Styles. G-Men headquarters, Sonny Styles. Matt Miller takes Caleb down over Sonny Styles. Well, I can't do that. Yeah, this is Giants see a superstar in Sonny Styles, the film breakdown. This Sonny Styles guy fucking sucks. Oh, I think if Sonny Styles there for Washington, I do think that T-Rose, are you a Washington Commander fan? Are you a Washington Commander fan? I didn't notice that. Yeah, that would be, what's funny? That would be a Jacksonville Jaguar moment when the Giants took Daniel Jones and not Josh Allen, the linebacker out of Kentucky, who now has 61 sacks in his career. Jags, I love, to this day, we've said it before. It was one of the greatest things ever. The Giants are, and the New York Giants select quarterback Daniel Jones, Duke. And then it goes next on the clock. It's the Jacksonville. Oh, wait a minute. The Jacksonville Jaguars pick is in. It's Kentucky linebacker Josh Allen. That's what it reminds me of. James, kids today. What's a fax machine, Grandpa? Stretch Washington. Yeah, Stretch is Stretch is what you call it. 5'8". Yeah, the pattern is full, Ghost Rider. Tim, not gonna lie, Malik Willis has no weapons. Who's he throwing to? I love it because Malik Willis, the former defensive coordinator, is the new coach, Jeff Hadley, over in Miami. The vice president of player personnel, who's done a phenomenal job in Green Bay the last 15 years, is now the general manager. They sign Malik Willis. The ink dries, and they say, Malik, welcome to Miami. We're trading Jalen Waddle. You did get a lot for Waddle, though. You did. I'm not going to give you that. Jeremy McCoy, trade back if he hits the beats with all the. It's not a bad. Like I said, the trade back scenario is not a terrible scenario. There's no logic or reason to pass on Styles if he's sitting there. Well, if Reese is sitting, I like Arvell Reese a lot. If he's sitting there at 5, if the Jets go like David Bailey, and let's say Tennessee goes Love, Cardinals go offensive lineman, I could see it. Joe says, if you could have one player in 2026 only, would you take Saquon? Ooh. Joe, you are fucking knocking it out of the park with these questions today. You're making my head hurt. I don't want to fucking think. I was up late last night. I don't want to think. But then, like your other question, am I getting them at the same salary, or am I paying the Saquon, or am I paying Saquon Barkley's current salary? Do I want to? The one thing I worry about Saquon Barkley at 29 years old, and he just turned 29, so he won't be 30 until next February. I kind of wonder if he's got the Sean Alexander scenario. Sean Alexander had that big season with Seattle, then fell off the next year. And Saquon Barkley kind of has that same process, which is 354 carries for 2,005 yards. Then he still had 280. So he was still at 1,140. He didn't play all 17 games. If I'm looking at this from a long-term perspective, I got to take Love. That was a good one. James Williams says, we haven't had a player like Styles at linebacker in 2 decades. As an athletic linebacker that we have drafted, you haven't had a guy like that since 84. Like I said, I am not, and I've said this before a million times, I am not saying Stunny Styles is going to be Carl Banks. I am not saying that. But if you take a look at the athleticism of Sonny Styles, what he can bring to the table, he is probably the most qualified, quantified linebacker we would have drafted, and we took Carl Banks at 4, that we have drafted since 84 when we drafted Carl Banks. And I'm not saying the career trajectory is going to be the same. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's going to be, what some people believe, and I actually believe it, that he should be a Hall of Famer, because I do think Carl Banks should be in the Hall of Fame. But he had the misfortune of playing with 2 Hall of Famers in Harry Carson and Carl Banks. If you have Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor, I'm sorry, he played with Harry Carson and Lawrence Taylor. I'm going to tell you this: if you did not have Lawrence Taylor on the Giants and you drafted Carl Banks would have had a more of a perception of a Hall of Fame career than he already had, but he does have a Hall of Fame resume in my mind. So I think you can't pass on a guy that gives you so much since what we drafted in 84. Caleb height is overblown. He measured at 6 feet. I wonder how high Tyrann Matthews could have went without the off-field issues. Well, the Honey Badger, the off-field issues were huge. See, Joe, I can't take him. I can't take him, James. Parson is good, just needs to show up in the playoffs. Also, run support is not that good. Parsons is not that. You know what the funny things about Micah Parsons is? Micah Parsons really isn't asked to play the run. Micah Parsons can play the run. Micah Parsons, if you go back like to 2021, he had 60. I think he had like 65 tackles. I think did he have like 60? Yeah. When he was more of a complete player, and Dallas kind of did this to Parsons because they needed his pass rushing ability. This is a guy that had 84 tackles his rookie season, 64 solo 20s. 20 assists, which means he was leading the point of attack. But then they moved him more positionally into a pass rushing position. So then it dropped down to 65, 65, 43, 41 with the injuries. Micah Parsons can play the run, and Micah Parsons can play the run well. It's just when you have him in that ability to play the run, this is a guy that only has a 6.8 missed tackle percentage. So, but that's not what they're asking him to do. Sack predictions for Carter. How about his jersey number? I forget what's his jersey number. Tim, are you disrespecting our robot overlord saying so? Listen. I don't know, man. I don't like, not gonna lie to you. I don't trust this AI shit. Not gonna lie to you. James and I were talking about something on the phone this morning. And then I guess he had the TV on. And then all of a sudden James is like, what we just fucking talked about is now on the TV. Yes, I've built a bunker. Yes, it's hardwired. Yes, I am ready for the apocalypse. I am ready for a zombie attack. I have clear fields of fire all throughout my fields in my yard. I just need to dig a trench. The claymores are all facing this side to the enemy. I am ready. I have enough firepower to invade Canada, which isn't really saying much. So I am not going to turn around and give artificial intelligence my brain. How scary is that? Joe says, as good as the linebacker class looks, I believe Sonny Styles is special, and the gap between him and the other linebackers in this class is big enough that you can't pass on Styles if he's there. I think it goes Reese, Styles, Bailey. And I actually think Bailey may go ahead of Styles. I still think there's an opportunity that Bailey is going to go to the Cardinals. Joe Ferry, Saquon probably right now slightly better, but I think James Williams both if both are at 21, I'm taking Saquon Barkley all day long. Giants drafting Styles and consider bad business because Dart needs to help Google that. No, I don't want to Google that. That'll hurt my head. Tim doesn't go to Google. I'm like Chuck Norris. Tim doesn't go to Google goes to Tim. Well, since Chuck Norris is dead, we have to have some. I'm just going to take over the Chuck Norris mantle. I thought it was funny that we were shopping. Yesterday. It was not yesterday, Saturday. Because my wife wanted to go shop, so I took her shopping, and she likes spring purses and stuff. So I'm there being me, sitting there in my AR-15 Black Rifle shirt, sitting there and drinking my big cup of coffee. And she's trying to decide on a purse, and I'm like, just get this one. I like this one. This one's nice. And it was funny though, because then this guy wearing makeup and in a skirt and high heels comes up, and I start talking to him, and I say, you just tell her to get this bag because that's the nicer bag. Just tell her to get this freaking bag so we can get the fuck out of here. So, and I told her, I said, all these other bags look like that's a nice bag. So he goes, I'm going to tell her what you said. He goes up there and talks to her, and we go out and buy the bag, and then we finish our shopping. And then my wife goes, we're in the car. She goes, I just love the fact that you're this manly man. You lift weights, shoot guns, drive muscle cars, and or into motorcycle, ride motorcycles, do all this shit. But you can still sit there and talk to a guy wearing makeup and a dress and high heels. And I looked at her and I said, he was wearing makeup and a dress and high heels? Then she goes to me, I thought for a moment that you were a Renaissance man, but now I just think you're not very observant. What's up, Evan? Telling someone to Google it is about as weak as it gets. That's a good thing. Tim secretly Googles his burner account, Polk High alum. Yeah, James Williams told me the other day yesterday told me I'm Al Bundy. Let's see here. Tim Carter led the league in hitting quarterbacks. Other idiots will tell you doesn't mean shit to me. Black Bro, what's up, my brother? If Carter doesn't jump off sides against the Vikings, we win the Vikings game too. I didn't want to talk about that. AJ says, I expect Carter to hit the sack early and often. I hope he does, because we need to win. I need to win some games. Where do you go, my lovely? James, jump on. You're not working. Jump on for a minute, James Williams. Pressure burst pipe stranglers. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. Oh, let's see here. John Harbaugh going to make sure Commanders don't get Styles. I believe that. I hope it's true. Let's see here. Joe also says, is Carter going to take the crown king of the almost sack? He already has it, but I can never give that sack. I can never get otherwise. Tim's basically called us a sandwich from Subway. Let's see here. Ben Evans says we need another defensive lineman next to Dexter Carter. Listen, Nacho went back to Tampa. I like the Nacho Man. Nacho Man. I like Nacho. You need a defensive tackle. You need a run-stuffing, big-bodied, big-butt defensive tackle. And I'm not going to lie. I see it, and we've talked about this. I like Lee Hunter, but I don't think Lee Hunter is going to be anywhere near. I mean, if Lee Hunter's there in the second round, I'm grabbing someone like Lee Hunter. I've already talked about this. We did a whole show on his big butt. I need a guy that is just going to plug the middle, is going to be an unmovable object. I talked about the kid Harris over at Ole Miss. Only thing I don't like about Harris is he's 6'8". I don't like overly tall defensive tackles. But I just in round 4, and we talked about some guys later in the draft. We talked about some unrestricted potentially. We talked about some free agents. But I just need a big body guy. I need, like they said it before. I need a big butt guy. I need a guy that's gonna do the dirty work. I like if you're looking just for a straightforward guy, what's his name? Dominique Orange. I think what is he? Ohio State or Iowa State or something like that. He's a guy. We talked about the guy from Florida State. I like to see him bulk up in Darnell Jackson Jr. I just need a big butt. Tim Keenan III. We talked about Tim Keenan III out of Alabama. That's another guy I like in the later rounds. He's a one technique nose tackle. That's literally what the Giants need. What are you wearing?
Yo, you're Tom Brokaw. We got breaking news over here. I'm waiting for you to finish your soliloquy. We got breaking Giants news, and we're waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to get to it in the chat, and you're like going on here.
Breaking Giants news.
Well, you chased our captain off the team.
Dexter Lawrence requested a trade. Oh, here we go. Zach Attack. The source is Dexter Lawrence, All-Pro linebacker, has requested a trade and will not be participating in the team's offseason workout. Opens on Tuesday. Get out of here, you big pussy.
Of course.
Get out
of course.
I'm so fucking sick of Dexter Lawrence. Now I'm sick of this motherfucker. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not Dexter Lawrence, because this big fat ass who can't stop the run, who has not fucking stopped the run in 5 years, wants a trade.
Apparently.
I am tired of these vagina prima donna players that I can't play because my elbow hurts, and so does my ovaries. And then you sit there with Carl Banks, who calls you out and says, well, you didn't get double teamed. Well, you want to know why they don't double team you? Knock, knock. Who's there? You fucking suck. And then you want to sit there and go, I need an extension. I'm not going to renegotiate my contract. I need more money. I fucking hate Dexter Lawrence. And I'm sitting here doing a soliloquy.
Oh my God.
And then this news drops. Dexter Lawrence and the Giants have been through 2 off seasons attempting to negotiate a contract, reflecting his value. Hold on. I think I got $1.98. Oh, wait.
Oh, come on.
I have $1.98 and a used cough drop, which I just found in my pocket. Are the Giants winning the Super Bowl with Dexter Lawrence?
I mean, that's hard to say. As of right now, I'd have to say no. Right now, no.
Are they going to win a Super Bowl with the next Dexter Lawrence in the next 3 years?
Oh, probably. The odds are no.
No. So why am I going to give this motherfucker more money? This ferocious motherfucker. Why am I going to pay him more?
Ferocious. Oh, God.
Why am I going to pay him more to come in and suck? I love it. Officially wants a trade. Yes, I will trade him. Know where I'm trading him to? Cleveland. Because that's where Giants trade players to die.
I'm trying to say if we can get Myles Garrett back, that's what you're trying to say. Send him, Kayvon, and Jalen Hyatt in a package deal.
I see it now. Cleveland is like Giants like we'll give you Dexter Lawrence for Myles Garrett. Cleveland has not stopped laughing.
No, Kayvon and Jalen Hyatt in a super package deal, and a second round pick. There you go.
And I throw in Tyler Newbin.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, guys, because if you don't hit the like button, Dexter, and I love it because we had the volunteer, involunteer, mandatory, non-mandatory workout for tomorrow. And this motherfucker wants to, I got to hold this. I have to Google this now, James. Hold on. I was
waiting. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here waiting. You know, people shouted it out. Shout out to the chat. And I'm like, look at this guy. He's going on about this other player. And I'm like, we literally have breaking news. I can't wait for him to see this.
Yeah, breaking Giant news. Dexter Lawrence requesting a trade, according to Adam Schefter 7 minutes ago. Adam Schefter, Dexter Lawrence has been, and the Giants have been trying to negotiate a deal, and there's not been any progress. He also mentions there initially was optimism in the talks before they're looking forward, but the lack of progression in the discussion has led Dexter Lawrence to skipping the start of the offseason program. Per Over the Cap, Dexter Lawrence is the 11th highest paid interior defensive lineman with the average salary of 22.5. He has 2 years remaining on his current deal, where his base salary of 18.5 and 18 million. In playing in all 17 games, Dexter Lawrence recorded 31 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, half a sack, a pass defense, and an interception.
The only thing I'll say. Oh, go ahead. Are you done?
No, I'm not done. No, I'm not done. I have to go change this to the I Hate Dexter Lawrence stream. Okay, let's go here. Let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat. Let's go to, can I do that? Can I change a name of a stream in the middle of the stream, or is that just going to fuck everything up? I don't care.
I mean, you could do what you want, I would think, Captain.
Go here, go 11:15 stream. Dexter Lawrence. I don't even know how to spell Dexter Lawrence. I'm very upset. James, talk a minute. I'm changing the stream. Dexter Lawrence sucks.
The only thing I'll say, guys, is just kind of what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, or even just last week, that there's in the next 2-3 years, there's going to be some guys here that might have been your favorite player, and they're going to be gone.
Be here.
One way or the other. And here we go. Right off the bat.
I can't find it, James. Where can I do this? Dexter Lawrence suck request trade. Can I do this? Dexter Lawrence.
Why don't you say Dexter request trade?
Nope. Lawrence sucks request trade.
Oh, okay.
How about Dexter Lawrence request trade? Dexter can suck it.
Oh, DX. Okay.
Big Dex, suck it. Suck it. Bye. There we go. All right.
Well, I mean, we should get some decent compensation, though. I'll say that.
Nobody's going to give.
Yeah,
Nobody's
you
giving.
should get something halfway. I'm not thinking I'm not talking nothing crazy, but you should get something where it's like, okay,
What do you think is good compensation for Dexter Lawrence?
For Dexter Lawrence right now, off the top of the dome,
off the top of the dome, a guy that has not played with any high level of proficiency in 2 seasons, has come off a year where he has not played well at all, had a half a sack and 31 tackles. Oh, it does come up. Thanks, Dexter Lawrence request trade. Big Dex, suck it. Bye. There you go. Okay. All right. So it did come up. Hey, look at that. It did come up. That's awesome.
I was gonna say, shout out to Perry and Lee. I was thinking around the same thing. Like, you're gonna tell me that we couldn't get a third rounder or a third and a fourth, or God forbid a second and a third, or 2/3, something around there. For Dexter Lawrence. I mean, you talk about the last 2 years, but 2 years prior, he was in the top 100 NFL players, and for defensive lineman, he was in the top. I believe in the top 10, if not top 5, one of those years.
What do they say the league is, the NFL?
Not for long. What do you mean?
But it is, what have you done for me lately?
This is true.
That's what the league is usually referred to. What have you done for me lately?
But he's done more than a Kayvon Thibodeau. And if we were speculating at some point trying to get maybe a third or a fourth for Kayvon, you could definitely get that for Dexter Lawrence.
Yes, but how many people are going to? How many Giant fans are going to get their panties in a bunch when Dexter Lawrence is like, well, when the Giants say, I want, if some kind of rumor comes out and the Giants like, well, I want a first rounder for him.
I mean, you always shoot for the moon and hopefully land amongst the stars. Listen, if somebody wants to give us a second rounder or a late first rounder for him, because maybe they feel like they're a player or two away, on their defense or something, hey, who are we to deny that?
Okay.
But
so give me a team. Give me a team that
Buffalo. And I'm talking about a second or third rounder.
So
Buffalo.
You think Buffalo is going to take on $18 million a year for an additional 2, plus they are going to have to extend him at soon to be 29 years old?
It depends. Again, I'd have to, and I'm more familiar with them than most people, but I'm just talking about.
I thought that was a good analogy.
Right. I'm just talking about right off the bat. You're just thinking about what is a team that would possibly look into that. I don't know if it would actually make sense, but just would actually think about, Dexter Lawrence requests a trade. Let's look into that. I think Buffalo would be a team that would look into that.
He is 29 years old in November. So you're going to probably have to give up multiple picks for him. So are you going to give up a 2? Listen, we don't have a third rounder. Are you going to give up a 2 and let's say a 4 if you're Buffalo for a soon-to-be 29-year-old defensive tackle coming off of 2 down years in a row who has been sullen and truculent in the current organization and who people have most recently questioned his ability or his desire to play football?
Well, I don't know if you do a 2 and a 4, but like I said, a 3 and a 4, something maybe. And the truculent part, you got to remember, everybody's truculent in their current situation. He goes somewhere else. His attitude more than likely should and will change. Obviously, any team who trades for him will hope for that. But I just feel like Dexter Lawrence, and again, he may have soured a little bit here with you and some of the fan base, and his production has definitely dropped here. But on the trade market, I do believe he will garnish some value and interest where we should get something at least halfway decent back in return. It's not going to be just garbage. We're not getting fifth rounder. No.
Joe Shane has admitted that they were fielding calls for Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau. And what was the one player that Joe Shane mentioned that they did not get any calls about?
Well, I'm assuming he told Lawrence now that you're bringing it up.
Yeah.
But it's also Joe Shane, too. I'm not, people, it's also, look who's, the car may not be as high value, but look who's selling me the car also. He's not the guy that, most people would look at to trust him
Well, this
in a
is
deal.
the guy that only made the trade for Brian Burns because his friend made him do it.
Well, exactly. So we have different regime in here and management and how we're going to handle things, So, I think this will be handled differently, much like the draft is going to be than what we've seen over the last few years. I mean, Dexter Lawrence has been whatever you or anybody wants to say, he's been our best and most consistent defensive player over the last 5 years. He just has, as up or down as he has been,
Who was our best defensive player last year?
Well, Brian Burns, the last couple of years, yes. That's why I said 5 years.
Okay. So, but I don't care what he did 5 years ago.
No, I'm just saying in totality. Like I said, his last 2 years, which you pointed out, were bound, but 2 years before that, he was in the top for defensive linemen. He just was.
Unless we go to Skynet and Google how to create a time machine, no one's going to pay him off his resume for 4 years ago.
Yeah, but you don't know. That's the whole point of what one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? Look at Brian McKnight. Look at the philosopher. There you go. You brought him up right on time. Thank you. Queued right up.
One man's trash is just another man's garbage.
All right, now that's harsh. Damn, come on now, come on.
You brought it up, man. I wasn't going to do this. I had to.
No. Let brother philosopher get in here and drop his Dexter Lawrence take. What's up, brother?
Come on, philosopher. Tell me about Dexter Lawrence here.
Dexter Lawrence need to.
Here, I'm putting the link in the chat. Oh no, I wrote the wrong thing. Yes, I have multitudes of accounts that are sock muppets, but I can't figure out how to fucking post the damn thing.
Polk High alumni.
He posted the damn thing that I was doing the thing. Damn it. How do I do this? Do this. Okay, go back here. I'm going to post a link in the chat here. Philosopher.
But yeah, if I'm Dexter Lawrence's, or if I'm Dexter Lawrence, fire your agent, bro.
I'm sending this badass to Cleveland.
But it's like, you're trying to negotiate a new deal, okay, off of your worst year in the league, and you're getting paid 18.5 this year. What are you thinking? That makes no sense. Why would they ever pay you more? Why? It don't even make sense.
Because according to James, Dexter Lawrence was good 4 years ago.
He was good 4 years ago, but he wasn't good last year. And why? Okay, if he wants a new deal, right? I kind of get what he's trying to do. He's trying to go to a new team, start fresh, have a good year, get a new contract. But do you guys think, this is a question for both of y'all, do you think he'll ever get to that level of play that he had, I want to say like 2.5 years ago when he was like at his peak?
No. Right near his cap hit for the Giants is $26.9 million, which is 9% of the salary cap. He would have a dead cap number of 13.9, which means we would save 13 million, which we could have used at the beginning of free agency, but that's okay.
It depends on the system or the team he goes to. Again, like to Tim's point, even what you I think alluding to, brother, his production here has dropped off the last couple of years. Yes, but again, he is looking for what?
Trade him to the Tennessee Titans for their first.
Dabo's not going to. Dabo's not going to for the first. No, even crazy Dave, crazy Ivan is not going to do that.
We live in wacky fucking crazy land, so why not?
But you could try, right, philosopher? Hey, if you're going to take it, I'm not going to stop you from giving me. You know what I'm saying? Like you can always try to upsell, but I don't think you're getting a first, in all reality. But I would shoot for a second. And then obviously, we work our way down in the middle, third or fourth, like I was saying. But it depends on where somebody else may look at him and say, that's what we're missing. Maybe we have linebackers or we have our secondary, but we need somebody up front. And Dexter, if he's looking to get paid, yeah, he goes to a team for a year or two, and hauls out. They make a run or something. The team may go a la Daniel Jones and say, we're going to pay this guy.
But doesn't he have 2 years? I want to say 2 years left on his contract.
He
right?
just said 2 years, right?
He's got a basically an out this year.
That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. To me, this is what I would do if I was.
You're going to have to, whatever team you want him is going to have to extend him.
Right. So what I'm saying is the reason why I would fire my agent if I was him, you wait until the last year of your contract, not the year before your last year.
Well, technically, this would be the last year of his contract because the Giants have an out after this season.
When you say an out, you mean like they can cut him out? Or...
Well, they can move on from him and not incur as much dead cap space. So this would be technically his last year. He's looking for an extension.
It's just not a good time for him to look for an extension, in my opinion, because he's coming off such a shitty year.
This was a bad time for him to look for an extension.
But listen, players and athletes, we enjoy them. But again, there's a reason why a lot of them are not teaching college courses. I'm pretty sure, philosopher, the agent didn't wake up today and say, we're going to do this. I'm pretty sure he probably was saying, nah, you know what? These guys aren't doing that. Request a trade, man. Yeah. So he had a hand in this decision before Shefty put it out on his Twitter.
Yeah,
so he thinking.
Yeah, and I can dig that, Brother James. My whole thing is, unfortunately, I am a little closer to these type of situations than most because I'm an attorney. So I know how an agent has to deal with them. It's like dealing with grown-ass, huge, insanely athletic children. So it's like you can't just smack them around, right? And so these dudes are entitled. They've been being told yes their whole lives.
I love how philosopher likes to throw out the fact that he's an attorney. Well, I don't have a fucking job.
You're doing your job now. Philosopher's dropping knowledge as he's philosophizing. Continue, brother.
Thank you.
Continue. I'm sorry for James being so rude.
But no, I mean, it's like, it really doesn't make sense. If I was his agent, I'd be like, brother, like, just wait a year. Just give us 1 year. Just have a good year and we'll get paid anywhere you want to go. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that.
Here's the point, though. What if he doesn't have the good year?
Okay, and I can dig that, but I don't think he can have a worse year than last year. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Sure he can.
He said Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he could have a worse year than last year.
How many sacks did he have? Like half a sack?
He had half a sack last year. He had 8+ the year before, and the only reason he had the 8+ was because of the fact that most of his sacks came from the defensive end position. He wasn't even playing his own position.
Yeah.
But also to your point, what if he's sitting there going, no, I want the trade. They won't give me the money now. You put that trade in now. We don't know, and you would have more of an idea, behind the scenes, like you said. But I just feel like for a guy like Dexter Lawrence, who's been our flagship defensive player here for the last 5 years, like I've said, Tim, for him to come out all of a sudden before things really start going with workout programs and season and before the draft to request the trade, it's like, I would like to think he thought about this, more just having some shrimp and grits. I would like to think he thought about this, over the weekend for a few days, if not longer. I hope it's not a knee-jerk reaction that just because the negotiations didn't go the right way, and I don't know what he's asking for or looking for. I'm sure we'll find out as the day goes on.
Does this tell us more or less, and maybe philosopher can answer this question because he's got a job, and he likes to brag about it all the time. Does this tell us more than less that Joe Schoen is or isn't in charge of this team or this organization anymore?
I don't think this really points to Joe Schoen, only because actually, no, you know what? Maybe it does. But the only reason I say that is because I don't know what their negotiations have been like recently. If I was Joe Schoen and he came to me, defense attack came to me talking about a new deal, I'd have been like, you have got to be out of your goddamn mind.
Got to be.
I'm paying you anything.
Out of your gourd.
Yeah. So I don't know. It really just depends on how the negotiations went down because allegedly, according to that report from Schefter, the negotiations broke down, which means they were actually entertaining giving him an extension. But what we don't know what that actually means. Maybe they were like, "Hey, you take a pay cut."
That's actually no. He's not going to take a pay cut. He's going to want more money to come back and get more. I mean, because you're not going to. He's going to want to get more years off his deal.
Right, but what I'm saying is what they're offering him, because they're like, "Okay, look, we do want to keep you longer, but your plays kind of went down over the last couple of years. We see you as 15 per type dude, right?" That's how I see. If I was negotiating with him, that's how I would have came at him, and that's probably what may have facilitated this whole little kerfuffle of demanding a trade.
Kerfuffle, I like.
Yeah, I love that word.
I like kerfuffle. I'm actually changing the thumbnail as we speak right now as well.
This guy.
Because
But isn't that a little weird? Like, let's do a little, because again, we are the Giants fan base. You know, I'll ask you too. Like, I'm thinking about what you said, philosopher, and it's like, isn't that weird timing? Like, for him to ask for a trade coming off, you know, the season. Like, what could have sparked? Like, why would you do that now? You know, with a new regime coming in, if a new regime, a new boss is coming in, and you feel like you're an asset to a company, wouldn't you feel like, well, I've been here for a while. Let me show this new regime what I can do. You know, and then based off, you know, this guy's reputation, Harbaugh, you know, I should get rewarded then on the back end, instead of sitting here going, well, I didn't really play that good last year. He's coming in, all you can see is the tape from last year. But I'm going to sit up here and ask him and Dawn, you know, for an extension, you know, before he even sees what I can do. You know, it's like, it's just weird. Like you said, something must have happened that, you know, we may find out or not.
They probably didn't want to pay him. And
it's just weird.
And to
because of you.
And to philosopher's point, he kerfuffled himself.
Mm.
And they probably said, no, we don't want to pay you this money because honestly, we don't have the salary cap room. We don't have the salary cap situation. And are you truly worth that money?
Well, I'll put it to you like,
I'm saying no.
I'll put it to you like this. He's the 11th at 18.5, right? He's set to be the 11th ranked defensive tackle in pay, right?
No. You're looking at base salary.
Okay.
It's 18.5 base salary, 4.2 million in prorated signing bonus. And don't forget, there is another 2.7 million he's getting this year off his restructure, plus $1 million in a roster bonus and $500,000 and a workout bonus. People are just looking at the salary. He's got a cap at 26.9 million this year, 26.9 million next year, but it's only a $6 million dead cap number in 27 compared to the 14 dead cap number it would be this year. So technically this year and next year, because next year's salary is 15.5. Plus, people forget we kicked the can down the road on some of these bonuses with the restructure. So he's got a $4 million signing bonus in 27, 2.7 million restructure bonus in 27 as well, plus 2.5 million roster bonus in 27, and $1 million active bonus and $500,000 workout. But how does this motherfucker who weighs 350 pounds get an off-season $500,000 workout bonus? Maybe that's why he's buying too many fucking Whoppers.
Wait a minute. So is any defensive tackle paid more than, or does any? I'll ask it like this: is there any defensive tackle that has a higher cap hit this year than Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah, Chris Jones, there's probably at least 3 or 4. Yes,
I would say the guy in the Chiefs. Yeah.
So then that means that he's top 5 paid defensive tackles this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's literally saying top 5 is not enough. After
That's
coming
why
off a really terrible year. It's insane.
It doesn't make sense. He is Healer says he's getting traded. I better see a haul. Last year was really struggling. This is the thing. The time to trade Dexter Lawrence was last year. was last year. That was the time. Not now. It makes zero sense to move on from him now. At all. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, again, with I'm telling you, I'm just going to keep putting this disclaimer out for the next 3 years. Some guys that were here that some of the fan base might have really got attached to or thought had promise that might not be here. Don't be surprised because Harbaugh is coming. You know, but I think this is the first real life hits you in the face like, oh, Dexter Lawrence requesting a trade. Yeah, something's going. He wants to get up out of here. And the guy who's been here for however many years, he's about to be gone.
He's getting smacked out of this.
And he's not going to be the last one. There's going to be other guys that people are like, I can't believe we're getting rid of this guy. We're not going to re-sign this guy. No.
I'm good I'm okay with him getting traded as long as we get at least what we got for what's his face, King of the Almost Sack. So a 3 and a 5, right?
But King of the Almost Sack allegedly wasn't the player that Dexter Lawrence is.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. At least a 3 and a 5. I'd rather get more than that. But if you get anything less than that, then you're getting less for a allegedly better player than King of the Almost Sack.
But the money is a factor, and the fact that he is going to want a new deal.
Yeah, I mean, the money to me is the factor. That is the factor.
But he still should. We're not going to take pennies back, for him. Like, no, he should still give us something. Like I was saying to Tim, like you said, a 3 and a 5. I was saying like a 3 and a 4, 2 3s. You shoot for the moon. Like I said, yeah, you give me a 2 and a 3, 2 and a 4, something weird. Hey, I'll take it. But we should still get something. Again, with the draft coming up, maybe you can work something out. I don't know. You got to check the landscape. Who needs a interior defensive help?
Right.
I don't know. It's
because of you. You pissed him off. You made him feel like he was fat and worthless, and now he wants to leave.
Well, he is fat and worthless.
I'm just saying, hey.
It's because of you. Yeah, he is fat and worthless. What do you want me to do?
You know what the coldest part about all this shit is, Tim? Is that you're right again. But we get fucked because of it. We got fucked.
Somehow I knew this was all going to come back to me.
Because you were the first one to say trade Dexter Lawrence. Then the Giants fans go up in arms. They get pissed at you. Now they're going to be pissed at Dexter Lawrence saying we should trade this motherfucker. And you was the first one to say do it.
I did.
No, but hold on. But philosopher, no. You got to peep the science, which I know. What's going to happen is now, watch all these other podcasts the rest of the day and the week. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go, well, if you look at it, he hasn't really produced the last couple of years, and we kind of probably should have gotten rid of him a little while ago. This guy really is not the guy he used to be. So now, moving on with Harbaugh and Dart and Scatterbull, we need to get rid of the old guy. They're going to flip the script and make it seem like they weren't champion going against what Tim was saying. Now they're going to act like they were saying it before Tim was saying it. And it's going to be, well, this guy hasn't been with it. I'm telling you, it's so crazy, the internet, especially within this. We're all part of the Giants collective, unfortunately. But watch the narrative this week. You're going to see all these, well, if you look at it and the money he's doing, we should trade him. Yeah, we should have did it 2 years ago. Yeah.
They did the same shit with Brian Dable, though. And Joe Shane.
I love it. Tim,
they did the same shit with Daniel Jones. They did the same shit with Saquon. I could name 5 different players. People even tried to make sense out of why we didn't keep McKinney. Like every time a player is here and then for whatever reason they go, they flip the script on, well, we didn't need you anyway.
Right.
Tim is why is this? I'm reading these chats. Why is it always my fault? Tim is always the ultimate bearer of bad news. Oh my God. Tim was right.
You're like
Please
Chicken
say
Little.
more.
He's like Cleo. Call me now.
Come on, man.
Dexter's leaving.
Joe Sports enters the chat, followed by Fire Guys, Giants, and Chatty Duo. It's just, why would you come out with this literally when mandatory voluntary camp starts tomorrow?
He made it harder for himself to get traded.
Right. It's literally what all you're going to do is piss people off. But now you're looking at it. Now you're looking at it from the perspective of what have you, as Dexter Lawrence, what have you truly accomplished? Why would you, and this is the other thing I don't get. Why would you request a trade after free agency? Because the teams that had the money, the teams that had the cap, are they still going to be there?
I mean, he definitely dwindled his suitors or possible suitors. But as Philosopher said before, listen, God blessed you with big feet and athletic and the ability to stop a running back. He didn't say that you were great at breaking down scenarios.
But you have, what does Charlie say? Is there a world where we actually get what the Jets got from Williams? I think it's possible.
Nah, Quentin Williams? Nah, he was nah.
But you literally, this guy literally, Dexter Lawrence, literally waited to the last minute, waited till almost everyone has left the dance, has waited to the point where the salary cap money is dried up, waited till 3 weeks before the draft to sit there and say, I want to be traded. I would think, Philosopher, that his agent, his business partner, business manager, his attorney would have said to him a while ago, Dexter, maybe it makes sense to do this before free agency starts.
Maybe he thought that there was a chance that they might actually come to a deal before free agency ended. I don't think that's a smart assumption to make, but
after 2 years of trying to negotiate, allegedly.
Wait, didn't he sign his deal a little bit less than 2 years ago? It was like
it said in the report. Didn't it say in the Schefter report that they've been trying to negotiate a deal behind the scenes for close to 2 seasons or something as far as an extension, and that's part of the reason why now we're not going to come to a deal. So now I want to get off the team.
I didn't see the 2 years part.
Oh no, maybe I read it wrong. It could be me.
I could read it again though. Shit. Let me see.
AJ, you said it best. It's one of my favorite Who songs. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man behind blue eyes, and that's me because I'm always the one being the bearer of bad news. Big Lester, who also would text me when it happened, was telling me that get him the fudge out of here. Dexter is a loser. You didn't read it wrong. You didn't read it wrong, James.
So he's been trying, and his team, his agent, have been trying to negotiate an extension for a while. And like you said, Tim, and also Philosopher, now he waited to this point to realize suddenly this is not going to get done. So now I want a trade. But also, like you were saying, why didn't he come to this epiphany earlier where it seems like this train is not going to find its station? We should have requested this trade earlier in the offseason when teams were, making moves. Now you kind of
money.
This is kind of deep though, because now I'm realizing he's been trying to negotiate a new deal since he signed his last one.
There's been rumors and speculation for a while now that he has been trying to get a new deal. He signed his new deal, I believe, in 25. His new deal was took effect. But there's been rumors in the media that he has been trying to renegotiate his deal or get an extension since the off season. So this isn't new stuff. I mean, this isn't something that we have, that we've heard of before. I mean, that we haven't technically heard of before. It's just now kind of reached a crescendo that he's like, oh, well, I want to get out.
So I guess it is kind of true and stupid, but it's true to my point that I guess he got his new deal, but at the time where he was playing a high level of football, I guess his agent was like, or he thought I should negotiate for more money because I'm being talked about in the likes of Aaron Donald and all these people. So he thought I should get more money, and he's been trying to get more money. But the only problem is his play has decreased while he's trying to negotiate more money. So obviously nobody's going to give you that.
We do a post June 1st trade. It is only a $7 million dead cap number. But we'll also have a $7 million dead cap number in 27. So you're still going to be on the hook for about $13 million on a post June 1st over 2 seasons.
I'm still trying to get over the fact that the ink wasn't barely even dry on his first deal before he's negotiating the next one. It just speaks to the guy that it's sounding like he is. He sounds like a really selfish dickhead. It's insane.
Well,
he should have requested a trade before Linderbaum got paid the Raider. This is the thing I don't get. You are going to trade him after all the money spent. What team has salary cap space going into the draft that can take on $20 million of Dexter Lawrence's contract?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know you're asking that in jest. You just,
Yeah, I'm asking it rhetorically.
Yeah.
Because if you go into the space rankings, I don't see who's gonna have any cash. I mean, because we don't have all the full contracts. I mean, maybe
we gotta
money left over.
We got to also think about, this is interesting as you guys were sitting and talk about, like, how long is this going to go on, and what's like, is he gonna just not participate in anything?
If you're going to try to save money, it's got to go on post June 1st. It's got to go on till June 2nd.
Okay, at least. So you're saying the minimum, we have to wait at least until June 2nd, and then we have to find a right suitor for him.
Right.
Who is willing and able to take him on. I'm just asking about because again, we have new head coach, new coaches, new front office, the quarterback coming into his, second year. We don't really need a malcontent being in the background of either not participating or half-assing it. That probably wouldn't help. So this is not really something I'm sure Harbaugh had on the bingo card, but him and Dawn are going to have to, along with Shane bringing in the coffee, figure this out.
The only teams right now you could possibly trade him to, and unless you get him on a team-friendly, guaranteed money deal, would be the Titans, the Commanders, and potentially the Chargers. And that would be.
I don't see the Chargers doing that.
I don't.
Well, the other thing is, if we don't trade him,
you're not trading within the division,
right? And if we don't trade him by the time that the draft comes around, or by the time the draft rolls around, then all his value is like, what the fuck? you won't be able to get rid of him.
Yeah, Mike Lee, we just talked about that it makes sense to do a post June 1st, because then you're like $6 million in debt. So this is going to drag on.
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to drag on for a while. And I love it how he does it, like I said, right before the voluntary mandatory camp starts tomorrow.
And the draft is this coming up.
23rd.
Yeah.
Draft is the 23rd. So you're not doing anything.
You got to trade him
is,
by the time we get to the draft.
I
Well, you
mean,
can't.
in a perfect world, you'd like to, like Tim said, you got to wait until June 1st.
Because we only have $6 million in cap space.
But couldn't you trade him and then designate the trade to be effective post June 1st?
That's a release.
That's shit.
That's a release. You can release a player, and this was something that I forgot what the player was, and he did not designate it a June 1st, post June 1st cut. But you're given like 2 that you can do. That you can cut a guy and say it's not going to be till June 1st. And Joe, I can't remember the player that we lost. I think it was Logan Ryan. And we could have saved like an additional $8 million in cap space, but over the long term, we got rid of him up front. It's the Giant. It is Logan Ryan. Thanks, Mike Lee. It was Logan Ryan. I had to think about it.
Wait, so we could potentially cut him and make him a post June 1st cut.
Yes, you could just say we are going to cut you now, but it does not. And I think there's only 2 times you can do this with twice a year, and just say we're going to cut you post June 1st, but we're technically cutting you now.
How much dead cap would we have to?
We would take it if we do a post June 1st. It would only be $6 million this year and $6 million next year. It would be 13.5. If we do a pre June 1st, it's 13.5 this year, 6, and it's still $6 million next year. So it's not like that's going away.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pay dead cap anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. It's the difference between paying $20 million in 2 years or playing $12 million in 2 years.
This guy's a dickhead, man. Dexter Lawrence is a dickhead, dude.
I love the honest response. Guy's a dickhead. I love the honest response there, philosopher. Hit the like button or the dickhead's gonna stay. Because we only have 48 likes. We need 50 likes before I leave. I was supposed to leave 25 minutes ago. And now evidently I got to do a video and a podcast. Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, man, this is about. You had breaking news while you were. This is what it's about. You live for this.
Really?
Look at his face. Look at his face, philosopher. Look at him.
Literally, have you met me? I live for this. Yeah, that's what I live for. I live for the giant stupidity. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to do a video.
Listen, wait for the onslaught of videos we all get on our algorithm of the Dexter Lawrence requesting a trade for the Giants. Oh man,
I love Joe's comment, man. This shit is so applicable.
What was Joe's comment?
Dex like the guy who borrows 1,000 from you, doesn't pay back and wants to borrow 5.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's cheap though.
Nah, Cincinnati doesn't want to pay. Cincinnati didn't want to
pay. They didn't want to pay their own guys. You think they want to pay a guy? No.
Cincinnati only has $17 million in effective cap space. That's not counting the number that they're going to need for their draft. That's what these people don't understand. Someone says, well, the Titans have $51 million in cap space. No, that's effective cap space. That doesn't count the 12 or no, they're going to be like around 16 million they need to sign their draft class.
This is when Harbaugh is going to, hey Joe, put down that coffee. Come here for a minute. Hey, what about your friend Dan?
Evan says,
what's he need over there?
Bill's team was the first team I thought of.
I mean, Bills are just, again, they need, if you're talking about a team that's looking to make a run in the next year or two, or possibly next season, just put it all in the bag, that's also a team I would look to. Like, who wants to just think they're going to just add a couple pieces and go on a Rams type like run, But I don't see.
They strategically did this before the team's offseason program started. It makes no sense to me.
But is that really strategic, or like philosopher said, you're just doing it to be it?
I kind of think doing it to be a dick.
I want to know what the strategy is. That's what I want to, because I don't get it.
Sometimes there is no strategy, Cotton.
My strategy and philosophy is go to the dance with 7 minutes left because all the hot chicks are still there. Or are you picking from the bottom of the barrel? Dexter Lawrence limited any option of places that he could go by doing this doing this after free agency going into the draft.
Yeah.
He's been trying to talk to Shane. Shane's been eating Uncrustables. Now Dawn comes in. Dawn's probably like, what do you want? She's looking over the numbers. No, you're not getting that. No. Like, well, I want to talk about. No, there's nothing to talk about. No. Oh, you want to request a trade? You could do that. I'll ship your ass out of here on the first U-Haul I can find. But you're not getting that money.
Wait a minute. Didn't Joe Shane tell us not too long ago, I think during the combine, that everything was fine with Dexter?
Oh, come on, this guy. You believe in this? The snake oil salesman? This will cure everything. Broken arm.
Just being honest. Bills are the team, but I can't see the Bills doing that. Why would the Bills, but seriously, what advantage, James, would the Bills only have $8 million in cap space? So they would have to take on the 26, restructure his deal, give him an extension. And the Bills' window for the playoff Super Bowl is pretty much closed. And with $8 million in cap space before you even get into the draft, Buffalo doesn't make any sense.
Hey, man, we never thought the Lakers would trade Luka Doncic. The Mavericks would trade Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. So, you can maybe find a sucker in every town.
But they had, but the difference was they had cap space to do it.
No, I know. Listen, hey, there's somebody out here with the cap space and is gullible enough possibly to do this. It's our job to find that person. Somebody was calling Cleo.
Call me now. This is a good point. Guessing Dexter Lawrence thinks he's backing the Giants in the corner. He didn't. He just crippled his chances to move along. This will go into camp with a holdout. Yeah, I think this will go into I do think this will go into a camp with a holdout.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think what you were saying, because you were talking about the dead cap hit. I think and he's looking at it like, well, I have leverage to do this because they're not going to just cut me and take that 14, 15 million, so I'll request a trade. Something in his mind or from his vantage point, he feels like I have a better shot. I don't know. I'm not.
This kind of does fuck the Giants draft plans.
Oh, you mean my Reuben Baines pick might has a little more. No.
Reuben Baines doesn't make any sense. But this kind of screws the Giants draft plan a little bit. Yeah, it could potentially. It could potentially change their philosophy in the draft. Yes, it could. Because do you trade back into the first round and go? Because I've always said it before. I don't like him at 5, but I like Peter Woods. I mean, I'm not taking Peter Woods at 5. But I think he would be a solid guy to bring in to anchor your defensive line. I would take him more around, I would take him more in the 30s. He's thick. He's got the big butt. He's a run defender. He holds the point of attack. He's he's not the most steady and consistent at times, game in and game out, but he shows flashes of being fantastic, being wonderful. And like I said, he's a guy that Peter Woods can hold the point of attack.
I say you just take Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns, call up Cleveland and say, I'll give you Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns for Myles Garrett.
And I still think Cleveland would laugh.
Listen, again, you got to try, man. You got to try, baby. You got to swing the bat. And you already know what I'm going to say. Don't just stand there and let the ball go by you in the ninth.
You just took Mason Graham last year.
Oh, that's right.
So you're not taking.
I forgot that.
You're not going to trade for a 30-year-old defensive tackle when you got a 22-year-old defensive tackle that's going to be locked in for 4 more years.
Damn it. You're right. Well, listen, you're going to get what you want, baby. Dexter's up out of here as the philosopher pops back up.
I don't want him here, but
he's gone, baby. Sim Saladin
kind of fucked the Giants a little bit here.
Well, listen, nobody said he was going to leave peacefully. You can't have your cake and eat it too, baby. But
sure,
he wants to get out of here. He's going to be gone. We have a chance to, revamp the defensive line. Hey, you got to twist it around. You got to twist this around. It's like, stop thinking about how are we going to make it happen? We're going to make it happen.
Let's go, James.
You know what I'm saying? You can't. You know what I can't? And I love my brother, but you can't get what you want in life and then be mad when life gives it to you.
I love that James is is the rational one right now. It's
like this guy. He just made a whole video about a week ago about he's been fighting people, philosopher, about getting rid of Dexter. Fat boy actually accommodates him, and now he's like, well, he kind of screwed us. What are we going to do? We're going to ship his fat ass out of here.
He screwed us because of the fact that he screwed himself.
He screwed himself. Thank you. He screwed himself. The Giants are going to be all right. He screwed himself. Just like another fat boy who's going to be flipping Nathan soon on this team. Hey, man.
Well, at least they brought him back. At least they brought back Evan Neal.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, there's going to be a few guys getting off this ship. All right? Pirates. All right? Black Sails. You're out of here.
Army teeth, the Pirates.
That's be happy. You should be like, oh, like you said, get out of here.
Send him to Miami. Miami has 0 cap space.
Miami, they're getting rid of talent.
Miami has like negative $8 million in cap space. You think Ryan's going to make a video?
Oh, here we go. The resurrection.
Sorry.
The passion.
It's been more than 3
years. The resurrection. Here you go. This is a good time. Look, this is a topic. You got a fresh topic.
Well, I have to go make a video. Send him to Las Vegas. I don't think Las Vegas is. Why would Las Vegas want Dexter Lawrence?
What about Arizona? I like the Arizona one. That seems. No, you don't like it.
I don't like.
You don't like it.
I don't even know who Arizona has. Oh no, Arizona. They drafted a defensive tackle last year in the first round.
Oh, why are all these teams drafting defensive tackles smartly? Damn it.
Walter. Oh, they took Walter Nolan.
Walter Nolan.
Yeah, and they still have shit. And they also took another guy, / defensive end tackle a couple of years, 2 years ago, and Darius Robinson.
Well, again, hey, that's why people get paid their jobs to do their jobs. Excuse me. We got Dawn and people here. They got to, and again, this is not the Joe Shane in charge of running this trade request. So we're all going to hopefully believe that we can get some decent compensation back from this. And we're going to move on and revamp this team.
What are we going to do? We're going to believe. Did you say?
Well, guess what? This is a good time to say you're looking for a new job.
Joe,
He's
here's the only thing, Joe. You're only going to have $6 million. If you do a post June 1st, you only got $6 million in dead cap space this year, which means you're saving 20 in cap space this year, which means you're also saving 20 in cap space next year. So you're looking at $12 million over 2 years if you do a post June 1st. Yes, I said it. It's always my fault. It's always my fault.
We're giving you your credit. Stop it.
It's always my fault.
It's not your fault. It's your credit.
Okay, well,
You got to flip it.
I'm flipping the script here, and I'm telling people it's not my fault. I didn't do it. It made sense to trade him a year and a half ago, but I'm not saying anything. It still makes sense to trade him now. You have a defensive interior lineman who can't stop the run. I'm sorry, guys. The Giants have been a poor run-stopping team for 5 years. Who has been in the middle of this team for 5 seasons? You can't be paid like Aaron Donald, and you can't be, you can't look like Tarzan and play like Jane, and then say, "I want more money." No, I know, brother. I know you're not blaming me. I agree with you being said. I know. I'm just joking that everyone's like, Timmy, you said this. I did 2 videos on it.
But think about like you said, a year and a half ago, people are arguing in chats about, well, he's on the Aaron Donald path. Now he's on the getting traded path.
We're going to ship him to the Toronto Argonauts. I thought we were going to send him to Jason and the Argonauts. Let's see here. Trade down from 5 to 13. Acquire 44.97. I don't know. His play was so poor last year.
It was pretty bad.
You are going to have to find a team that believes in the reclamation of Dexter Lawrence to the point that they are going to give the Giants something of value, which will allow you to keep him. I mean, to trade him. I'm sorry, to allow you to trade him.
I think your better shot is to find a team. You may have to wait, but find a team a la the Rams who start a season out hot and look at it like we need to add a piece to our defensive line, and we're just going to throw it all in the bag this year and screw it. I think that's one of the scenarios that could, benefit us. We catch somebody and they're willing to give a little bit more because they feel like Dexter could help them make this push, but you have to wait for that.
Only time I would do that is if you go in it would make sense if you go in season and trade him. That's the only way technically it makes sense.
I mean, that's a possibility that may happen.
Then you're looking at it from a perspective of if there's an injury, if there's an issue, if something happens, then it makes sense that you can move on from him that way. But that's really the only way I can see you moving on from him that makes any fiscal sense. But then you're rolling the dice if he's going to have a good or a bad season. Well, that's the other issue. What happens if he sucks? Are you going to get less?
Well, I would also, again, I come from the tree of common sense, and again, it doesn't always bear fruit, but I would think that a guy requesting a trade, knowing his situation, I would assume he's going to come out and play hard, and knowing what he did last year or the year before, I would assume he's going to give you more than half a sack. So barring injury, I would worry more about injury, but I would think this guy is going to come out and want to show his worth or his value.
I don't know. This is perplexing, guys. This is perplexing right now.
Look at Timmy. He got what he wanted, and now he's like, I get this guy out of here, but make it make sense.
Now I fucked myself.
It's like, damn it.
I got what I wanted, but now I don't know if I got what I wanted is what I want. Well, no, trust me, I got what I wanted. Yes,
yes.
I think from all perspective, moving on from Dexter Lawrence just makes sense.
Of course.
I mean, from any rational perspective, it just makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's his timing could not have been worse. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. His timing could not have been worse to do what he just did to the Giants.
I thought it was hilarious. Again, while you're getting ready to log on to the stream, and I'm sitting here looking at it like Dexter Lawrence just requested a trade, and you're sitting here pontificating about some offensive lineman and some guy. And I'm like, look at it, he doesn't even know. Everybody in the chat's like, breaking news, and he's like, well, if I Google this here and look this up about this, oh wait a minute, what's going? And now look at you. Now you're like,
I'm still
you gotta make this happen.
You got to make it happen, Kevin. I get it. I'm still thinking about how to make this work.
I mean, listen, that's why Don is getting paid. Okay? That's why she's getting paid.
But maybe I want to be involved.
Listen, you got to be involved. You could come up with scenarios and,
Well,
I'm actually curious to see.
I evidently have to do a podcast in a couple minutes, but I have to go up and walk the dogs because evidently I haven't walked them.
Oh, yes, you actually have. Yes, you can't forget. Just because there's breaking Giant news, you can't abandon your duties.
You said duty. I think the Chiefs are gonna. No, why would the Chiefs?
The Chiefs, nah.
I'll move up. No, move up. Okay, I thought you wanted to say
oh.
This is a perplexing situation, and the only way not to make this more perplexing is to go to the mightyfanduel.com, the FanDuel.com, the one sportsbook in America, and don't forget to go to ZipRecruiter, ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Try it for free. I wanted 65 likes. Dogs. No, the dogs would be peeing in the cages. They wouldn't be peeing on the floors.
Oh my God!
They wouldn't pee on the floors.
Call himself the white Michael Vick.
White Michael. I love my dogs. You know that. All right, I'm gonna go do a podcast. I'm gonna go do a video.
He's like, all right, I gotta
do a video about this, but I gotta think about it. It's also the mighty ZipRecruiter, ZipRecruiter.com/audio.
You could place a bet on FanDuel with the Knicks and the Hawks tonight.
That's right.
While you're riding on your lawn device.
The lawnmower company's not coming until June now. We have a new sponsor. We have another sponsor though. I cleared it with James.
Oh yeah.
We got another sponsor coming up. Most team believes he won't be moved. Connor Hughes.
We already got to. I love it. We already got. What he won't be.
I think that according to this one source that feel that he will be moved next month, Doogie Howser. Connor Hughes. All these sports writers were fucking wrong about everything. I've been talking about trading this motherfucker and getting rid of him now for 2 years.
That's why I said what I said, because you're going to get annoyed for the rest of the week when all the other collectives come out and say,
I'm going to be annoyed in an hour.
We should have gotten rid of this guy.
I'm going to be annoyed in an hour. I changed it to Dexter Lawrence request trade. Bloom coming. Should be coming off the Harbaugh Rose. I got to change that.
Shout out to brother T Brad and the Wolverines.
Where's this thing here? I don't know. What the fuck, man?
Look at you. He's like, I don't know what to do now.
I don't know.
I wasn't expecting this.
I wasn't expecting news. I want to make a video. And I should make a video because I get paid to do this, but I'm lazy. So, I mean, do I really want to go do it? Because then I'd have to go upstairs. I would go have to have lunch. I would have to walk the dogs. I'd have to come back downstairs. I'd have to go back in the office.
What if he puts out a statement saying, well, over the years, it's just come to my attention that certain members of the Giants media here just not appreciated me. So I will take my talents elsewhere.
I'd be so happy if he said that. Then
you'd make a video.
I would be so happy. He was like, well, I was watching this show the other day and this asshole told me I sucked and I shouldn't be on the team anymore. I'd be so ecstatic.
What if Carl tweeted out, hey, man, you talking about me? Like, no, Carl. He's not talking about you. It's relaxed, brother.
We would say, Carl, you were right. You were right, Carl.
I told you he wasn't getting double teamed like he used to. You guys didn't want to believe me. Now he wants to leave. Oh, well, I mean.
Carl. What is he going to do now?
Oh, my God.
I told you. Hold on. I told you guys.
Why? You can't point to the back of his head. What are you doing?
Carl's like, see, I knew he was going to get traded. Oh.
Well, he wants to leave. We will accommodate him.
I believe he should leave. Ooh, did you get that? If it's happening, Tim would do a video of him just doing that dance. No, because then I have to do videos and then I have to work and then I got to make content. Oh, God, this is just so annoying. There's not supposed to be any news till like fucking August.
But we've been trying to trade the Ghost Man, and now the Fat Man wants to go? What's going on here? We've been trying to trade Tibbs.
I just love the fact that they said they got calls for Thibodeau, but they didn't get any calls for Dexter Lawrence, and now Dexter Lawrence wants to trade.
That's how life goes.
There's just so many things going on right now. But the Giants also just signed Lucas Patrick, who started 65 career games for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Saints. This just came up over the wire.
Oh, they broke that to offset the Dexter Lawrence news. We got Lucas Patrick. Don't worry.
It's like, who the fuck is Lucas Patrick? I don't know.
I swear to God, I was just about to say, I guess I'm not as astute as you or Zach or T-Brad or Joe Ferris, but who is Lucas Patrick?
He played 6 games. Well, it's a guy that's, let's see, since 22, he played 7 games, 16 games, 11 games, 6 games.
That's okay. Lucas.
For the breaking Lucas Patrick news.
Okay, that'll offset the hole with Dexter Lawrence going, oh
my God.
Well, isn't this a good opportunity for who's the guy we got to step up? Who's the guy? Darius
Alexander, who can't play the run? Yeah, that'd be a good.
There you go. You replace the guy who can't play the run with the guy who can't play the run.
Defensive end, defensive tackle who can't play the run. That Joe Shane even said, well, he's not much of a run stuffer, but he's good at pass rushing. That guy? Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, God.
Lucas Patrick is a all-pro. Put some respect on that name. All-pro.
Is he an all-pro?
He was an all-pro. I don't have him listed as an all-pro anywhere.
OG Knockout, are you messing with us?
He's got to be messing with us. I'm looking at.
Are you messing with us? Because I don't know who Lucas Patrick is for real. I swear to you.
I'm looking at his stat page, and now I'm going to his.
You said he played like 13 games the last 2 years.
No, I don't see him as being. He's an undrafted free agent. Guess what college?
Furman.
Even better.
Better than Furman?
Yep.
Lafayette State.
Even better.
No. All right, come on, man. Now you just messing around. Come on. What? No! Oh, my God.
Undrafted free agent out of Duke.
Undrafted out of Duke.
32 years old to be 33 when the season starts.
All right.
You know what? It makes you long and yearn for Evan Neal.
It's like, all right. Undrafted out of Duke.
Oh, Keisha was lying. I was like, I had to look that
Oh,
up.
yo, I swear. I'm like, all pro. Holy
that.
crap.
Everyone knew Duke except for James. There goes the Evan Neal experience.
Oh, shoot. Everybody knew? Damn.
Listen, the Evan Neal experience or experiment, I'm still down for that because, Lucas Patrick, that's a name. He'll be splitting the atom. Yeah, won't be stopping the run. I mean,
I was going to say, forget splitting. He just stop the damn run. That's it's like, Coach, I finished this. I don't care about that. God damn it, Patrick.
Do what you're supposed to do.
Get your hands out. Get your hands out on the field. Play your position, son.
All right.
Stop teaching class. Oh, my God.
I've been on here for 2 hours and 40 minutes. They're not paying me for overtime. So, we didn't hit 65.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
There's nowhere else to go but that.
That's literally, or I could go with.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
On the Believe Network. Now one of their featured shows.
Oh, my God.
Could you believe this show is featured anywhere?
Well, yes, man. Listen, we do great promotion here. Gary Reasons, go get the book. ZipRecruiter, FanDuel, shout them out.
I love this. It's all jokes until Dexter goes to another team within the division and wins a championship.
Well, that's what's going to happen, though. You know that. Who left that comment, brother? You know that's going to happen.
No, the Giants aren't trading him within the division.
Oh, no, not in the division, but he's going to go somewhere, and they're going to make some kind of run, and we're going to have to watch it.
Or is he going to go to like a Cleveland and have an OBJ moment where he has one good season, then 7 bad?
But didn't OBJ make they had the one good year where they made the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one. So, yeah, he'll have the one. They'll make a playoff run. It'll be like, oh, my God, that's hard. And then, reality will set in. But, yeah, he'll have a run. How many players have we seen leave here and go on a run? Come on. Evan Ingram went on a run.
Does anyone want to make a podcast for me and just send it to me and I'll just put my name on it?
Somebody chat GPT that ish.
Can someone go to there's this website place. I can't remember the name of it. That has already got my voice in it. Oh, I own it. No, never mind. I can't. And because then you could just go and and type it, and then they do the podcast with your voice.
That's scary.
I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh man, Snowpiercer! I gotta wait till we get off. I gotta say something because you just said somebody could make a pot using your voice, so they could have you say
Riverside FM.
Riverside FM.
Yeah, I did some videos there, so they have my voice. So you could just type in like an idea for a podcast, and it'll use my voice to do the entire podcast.
Wow, that sounds scary to me. I guess because I'm old.
I would do it, but I don't know how. And it would probably take.
But it's your voice.
But it would probably take longer to figure out how to do it, instead of just doing a 15-minute podcast. Yes, isn't that ironic? Don't you think? Because it's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid.
I think it's more ironic that Dexter wants a trade, but then people are talking about bringing OBJ back.
That's what
that would be a weird swap.
That would so. Okay, all right, I'm done. I don't want to play no more. I don't want to play no more. I'm done. Have one of your bots do it. My sock muppets are busy. They're guarding my socks. Oh, should I get the laundry out of the dryer too? What the fuck? I got work to do.
Look at the world's for Dexter wants to trade. Everything just went to shit.
And I'm so hungry that I'm thinking about eating this cough drop that I found in my pocket that I washed probably like 3 times.
Don't eat that.
I'm thinking about it. I'm truly thinking about it. I'm like, I gotta
don't eat that.
I got a little bit.
That thing's been gained in Clorox, so don't eat that.
A little bit of a cough. No, I can't do that. I'll save it though for a rainy day. I'll put it in my Giants mug. Oh, and if you want a good read, go to Gary Reasons to Believe. Oh my God, Tim has been done for an hour. I've been done a long time. I'm still just thinking. I'm actually just procrastinating, so I don't have to do a Dexter Lawrence podcast.
No, listen, again, you got to do a video on the thing you wanted.
I know. But sometimes they say, don't wish for what you want because you may get it. And so now I have to work.
This is true.
So, and I got to finish the Milli Vanilli documentary. I'm very busy. I got to get the dogs out, the laundry out. I got to eat some lunch. I got the Milli Vanilli documentary I got to finish. Girl, you know what
you got to watch the Knicks later.
I got to watch the Knicks later. I got to get everyone ready for school tomorrow. There's a lot going on.
Well, that's a great. It's over.
No, it's over. Guys, love everyone. For James, for Tim,